Talk to the people.
Yeah,
All right.
talk to the people.
We're good at talking. So we're playing Fiasco tonight, kind of like Alex said. We really wanted to kind of stretch out, show some new tabletop systems, and Fiasco has always looked a lot of fun to a few of us, and so we wanted to give it a whirl and see what you guys thought. This is the entirety of the playbook. It's Fiasco. It's about big. It is a game of improv, disaster such situations that exist at the darkly comic intersection of greed, fear, and lust. It's like making your own Coen Brothers movie. In fact, Max was just talking about that. It says it on the back of the book, making your own Coen Brothers movie, and about the same time it takes to watch one. So we did set up a little while ago, which if you guys type !Fiasco, kind of show you the result of that setup. It talks about our characters and the relationships that we have with each other. And the one thing that makes Fiasco kind of a cool tabletop system is that not any one of us, there's no GM, no DM, no one's in charge. We're kind of going to craft and tell this story together, with traditional tabletop systems like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder. You normally have one person behind the screen becoming the narrator and the storyteller, helping to drive the story forward, creating encounters, combat dungeon, all that sort of stuff. That's not true in a Fiasco. None of us really know how the story's going to play out. We're going to go together and kind of create scenes for each other, and what we're trying to do is push each other into as many awkward, terrible, tragic scenarios as we possibly can, because what good is a happy ending if everyone gets to have one? You gotta have some doom and gloom, some fear. We're gonna try and recreate an old 80s B flick slasher movie for you all. It's gonna be pretty good. We've chosen ahead of time a particular setting. Fiasco can be played in a numerous amount of settings, and there's a bunch of them out there. But the one we chose is called Back to the Old House. So essentially, that stuff happened in this old house for all of us way long time ago. We've tried to forget it, make a fresh start, and be someone new. Everything that counts for anything went down in that house. Bad things happened, and we were a part of it. We left unfinished business. But now we need to go back to finish and end it all. We really don't want to go back to the old house, but we will. So our setting is going to be played in just kind of this ambiguous betrayal at the house of the hill, or that old Clue movie, haunted mansion sort of feel, as we each have our own characters. And while Alex is still doing that, we can kind of talk about our characters a little bit. I'm going to be playing Uncle Dave. He's well into his twilight years, and as the show may know, I'm actually quietly and privately a very successful serial killer. I have made my living trying to get revenge on those around me and those who have done me and my sibling harm. I have gone back to the old house because I have left things, loose ends that I'm trying to tie down and make sure no one else finds my deepest dark secrets. So I'm playing Uncle Dave. You may hear his nickname thrown around a couple times. It's Uncle Death. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of pans out. Max, being a close family member of mine, you want to go next?
Sure. So I will be playing Uncle Dave's younger, impressionable sister, Auntie Beryl, who all she wants is to make sure that the family's okay, that Dave's not getting chastised for his illicit behaviors, and I just pretty much am trying to watch out for my older bro. He might be getting a little reckless in his later years, and watching out for that. I also harbor a secret with our neighbor Joe Bob, who we had a shared experience years ago that still is ingrained in our lives to this day, and that's the extent of Beryl's depth. Let's keep going around the circle here. Hey Joe, who are you playing?
I appreciate that Brady Bunch look. That was great.
Yeah, the Brady
Way to go.
Bunch look. That made my night.
I'm the neighbor Abner, and I've been living next to these troublemakers and just horrible hoodlums for decades. My wife drove herself nuts. trying to get people to believe all the terrible things that were going on there. The whole neighborhood would hear her yelling, Abner! But no, it's no one ever believes it. Every time somebody goes over there, every time we do get somebody to listen to us, they don't find anything. So for Gladys, I'm finally gonna put a pin in this now that they're stirring around the house again. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get you guys in trouble finally.
For Gladys, huh?
Yeah.
Hashtag for Gladys.
All right, Kara, tell us all, or one of, I'm sure, many times, how to say your character's name.
It's not that's not a hard name to say. It's an Irish name, but you say it Aoife Byrne. So I'll be playing Aoife Byrne, 41-year-old private investigator. And I'm not doing the accent the entire intro, at least, because I got to save that for the game. But I have a relationship with Abner, and I have a relationship with Dave. I feel weird giving this all away, but I'm supposed to tell like everything, right?
Well, we posted it. People can type in !Fiasco and click the link and see the setup for themselves. Yeah, it's not hidden.
Okay, perfect. So my relationship with Abner is obligation, feeder and fed. So being a PI, I have the best kind of gossip in the city, and I always have the scoop on all of his neighbors and everything else going on. So we like to share coffee. He just kind of like popped up on my route / he's next to this house that has repeatedly showed up in my life and has been quite haunting, for lack of a better word. So I always get to talk to Abner about the latest happenings while keeping an eye on the house. We share a dangerous object, which is a box of old letters. And then my relationship, I'll leave that one kind of ambiguous. And the relationship with Uncle Death, or Dave, is that we are... I mean, it says gravedigger and murderer, so I guess I can just go into that. So he's a murderer. Figure that one out for yourself. I'm a gravedigger, though, because I'm a PI, and I dig people's graves because I dig up dirt on them. So cheating spouses, family drama, all kinds of stuff. I'm a metaphorical gravedigger for the most part, because at one point in my past, I've encountered this really creepy house, and there was an encounter where I had dug up some dirt on some individuals, and they ended up fleeing to this house. And during a scuffle at the house, I shot at something in the dark, which I never was able to figure out what it was, and it's haunted me till this day. So I have no idea what I saw. It was really creepy. I've had to take medication for it for many years. The medication's not really working anymore. And I also have my suspicions about Dave as well. And we also both need to be loved by mourners. Dave's is a little darker. Mine is I want to be loved by the people that I end up helping through these cases. Even though I might break their heart, I want to be appreciated by them. So yeah, that's Aoife Byrne.
All right, so I'm hoping the audio's a little better. I did the opposite of what it told me to, so hope maybe that fixed it. I don't know, but it looked right when I had it before. But oh no, get out of here, you gross box.
I know.
Yeah. But
God.
Anyway.
And the next one.
Yeah, so I'm playing Joe
God.
Bob. I'm friends with Max's character, longtime friends. We found something out in the desert in the middle of the night one time, brought it back to the house, and now things seem to be stirring up trouble. I'm not the best neighbor, I'm not the best man, but damn it, I'm American. And I do what I want, because this is America. And then, of course, old Abner's always trying to get me in trouble, accusing me of stuff, telling all kinds of high tales. But maybe we can patch up that relationship. We'll see how that goes. So that's my character, and we are really excited to play. But first, we should really talk about some of the folks that help us bring this excellent content to you. So we have a few different sponsors that we'd like to talk about tonight. One of our primary sponsors, Incarnate. It is a intuitive map making tool that you can find out on the interwebs. You can see it flashing on our overlay. They have thousands of assets. You can export your maps in 8K. If you want to dip your toe into the water and just try out their tools and see if it's for you, they have a free version of it. And then it has some excellent paint brushes that make it easy for you to paint mountain ranges, rivers, lakes, and they're constantly adding to their long list of resources. And then if you like what you see, it's like $25 a year. And so it's really affordable. And then once you're an actual pro subscriber, when you make your maps, you can even take them and publish them in your own adventures because they also give you the rights to any map that you create with that license, right? And so they're a fantastic application. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. If you've been intimidated by making maps, this is probably the best way to get your foot in the door without a lot of complications. It's just easy to use. And so that being said, our next sponsor, relatively new. Some of you may not have heard of them, and if you haven't, well, that's just dang sad because they're known as Reroll. They make an application that you can download on your phone, and it lets you make 8-bit, like 16-bit, 8-bit character art for your D&D characters. It has hundreds of different assets, and what I mean by assets is bases, races, armor, weapons, spells, companions, all of that stuff. And then you're like, okay, well, that's a really beautiful picture. I can make this really cool custom piece of art just for my character and share it with all my friends. But, I have all these other applications I actually use for my character sheet. You can have it all in one place because Reroll also has a function in their application that lets you track your character sheet as well. It's a one-stop shop. So do yourself a favor, go check them out. It is an excellent product, and if for nothing else, those little bitty characters are adorable, and they also have free access so you can try them out, see if it's for you.
Yeah, you can see them tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you can see them tomorrow when we go and take a deep dive back into Adventures in Terrawin, our long-standing D&D campaign hosted by our very own DM Green for fantastical tales and crazy events, lovable characters, and emotional moments. All that stuff is just there waiting every Friday at 7:30 PST. PM 7:30 PM. And so we're excited to do that tomorrow. Also, tune in tomorrow to see what our April giveaways are going to be. And then I believe, I don't think the giveaways from last month have been claimed yet. So if someone is resting on their laurels, Malachi, you should really claim that, or else they're going to be tossed out back into the audience and up for anyone to grab. So tune in just for that. You never know. You might be the one person there that's ready to win this thing. All our giveaways, all of our community members are valid members of our community. So we don't do subscriber only giveaways, not to mention there are gambling laws, right? On top of it. But subscribers do get a little multiplier to where they have double the chance to win, but it's open to all our followers. So we appreciate you guys just spending time with us, right? So I think I touched on most of them, but the one thing I didn't touch on is sweet and delicious fudge from one of our very own community members. They have a store called Fudge 11 Craze. You can see it down below. If you use code Legendary Action, you get 10% off on your purchase order, and he has some delicious flavor. Orange creamsicle, shamrock shake, and I think he's been doing some experimenting, so you might want to go check out his store just to see what unique flavors he has that are new in his shop, because he's always pushing the limits of flavor. I mean, he even has lavender, and that's not even a flavor.
I mean,
This is why we don't get along, Joe Bob.
it does taste different than normal fudge, therefore it must have flavor.
Lavender has a flavor, you uncultured swine.
But
Try not to use curse words.
Yeah, he makes a good product. And it's reasonably priced. It's about like I think it's like $20 for 2 pounds. That doesn't necessarily include the discount. And he will ship it to you within the United States and then even outside of the United States, so long as you're willing to pay for the shipping. If you want what he's got, he'll find a way to get it to you.
It may involve African swallows.
I hear they can carry like a coconut like 50 miles.
Yeah, you never know.
Never know.
All right. Anyone else that we forgot, Alex?
Oh, no one that we forgot. I see some of our usuals. I want to shout out Zambies. She's been doing some awesome, super dope painting, and she's been advertising teaching stuff on her Instagram. So I'm interested to see what results from all of those queries. She's an excellent, really talented artist. If you want to learn something or you just want to hang out and have a good time, her streams are awesome to just chill out in. So we appreciate you being here, Zambies.
Hey, Zambies, that's a great April Fool's joke. Of course, it's not all lies. I see what you did there.
Yeah, and so I also see Panda Chew, Zinji's in the chat. So really happy to see all you guys turning out for this. We know it's a little impromptu, and so it's not part of our super regularly scheduled programming, but we're looking at putting out some more content like this, so we can get more excuses to hang out with all of you lovely people.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, are you guys ready? Oh, you guys say.
I have one more thing. Sean, or as you're going to come to know him tonight as Dave, has put in a lot of work getting us all ready to play this game. I said, we are all brand new to it, and he is our guide through this wonderful world of Fiasco. So I think he deserves a little recognition. Good job, Sean. We appreciate you.
He does deserve all the recognition.
No.
He's the DM, but not the DM. He will still guide us through this entire process. So
yeah.
Well, you say that now, but if I guide you well enough, we'll hopefully all die.
But we
So I don't know if
you
that's something worth
we're
thinking
bad
for.
actors.
I mean, it's meant to be a fiasco, whatever happens. So I just see
True,
this as a win-win scenario where we can't lose at this point.
Yeah, our goal is to have a lot of fun. We hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys really like it, let us know in our Discord. The link's in chat right now, because we have some really cool ideas, and there's other settings we wanted to try. There's some ideas we've tossed around about getting stuff involved with the channel point store. So, I hope you enjoy it. Well, we're going to have fun. So thank you for spending your time with us. We're going to go over just how the game is played for a couple minutes. We're going to go to a quick intro screen that Alex has been working on behind the scenes, and then we're going to get started. So how Fiasco is played, once again, you just look up Fiasco. So this is the whole playbook, is that we each are going to take turns, starting with Alex, and choose to have a scene. This scene is going to be pure improv. We have already told you about our characters. We don't really know anything more about it or how the story is going to go. We're going to create that story together. So on each player's turn, starting with Alex, we're going to choose to either create a scene in which that person gets to pick who is in the scene, what they want to get out of the scene, where the scene's at, and things like that. And then the table will get to pick how that scene goes. Is it going to go really poorly for that player's turn? And I'm going to hold up a little black dice to tell everyone, including our table, if the scene is going to go poorly. Or is it going to go well for the player? And it'll be a good outcome, hence the red dice.
Whoa.
And so that'll tell...
Sean. You said that I could choose the outcome, and I want to win.
Yes.
Don't I get to choose the outcome? Is there a scenario?
You can choose the outcome of each scene. Yes, you can choose to win at your scene.
But what is it going to cost me? Arm and a leg, a rib, something? Do I just get to win?
Well, that's up to you never know. I mean, if you win and you won like mail order bride, is that actually what you wanted to win? But if we get to choose the scene for you, who knows what will happen?
Oh.
Maybe the choice you'll have to make is who's going to get out alive? Is it you or Max? You won, so obviously you got out alive, but you left Max behind. Is that really winning?
Yes, kinda. It was me or him, and I chose me. Oh,
Max, I
guess
want you to
what?
remember that.
Joe Bob is not the best person. Ooh.
So that's how that is one of the options. On a player's turn, they can choose to create a scene. The other option that they have is to choose to resolve a scene. And so what would happen is on that player's turn, they just say up front, I want my scene to go well for my character, or I want my scene to go poorly for my character. And then the rest of the table gets to pick how the scene is set up, who's involved, where it's at, and we get to set the stage for that person. So our goal as players is to try and create situations for each other where we either have difficult moral choices to make or just something really bad happens, because bad stuff's funny. So, I mean, for our imaginary playground stuff, it's going to be funny. Like I said, we're trying to create a terrible 80s B-flick slasher movie. So there's going to be crazy stuff going on. If you have ideas or want to see something crazy, post in the chat. I mean, who knows? We don't know where this story is going to end up, but we're going to go along the way. As far as turns go, each player is going to get 2 turns. We're going to go in clockwise order. Alex will go first, followed by Kira, then Joe, then Max, then myself. And then Alex will go again, and so forth. Each player will get 2 turns. After that, we will go to an intermission called the tilt. We're going to roll some dice, something weird's going to happen, and then we'll just incorporate that into our story. After our break, we will do 2 more turns each again. So in total, every player will get 4 turns. At the end of those turns, those Act 2, we're going to roll some more dice and figure out what sort of things happened to our characters. And the table is going to give, we'll have a table look at in the book. We'll see what happens. So,
Oak Tree!
gift subs.
It's so good to see you. Hi, Oak Tree. Thank you so much for the subscription.
Yeah, the gift subs. Thank you, Panda Chew. That is so generous of you. We haven't even started yet, and there's already gift subs. Thank you. Welcome those of you who got a gift subs. We hope you enjoy this evening. Other than that, I think that's about it. Joe, did I forget anything?
No. The distinction between the scene setup and the resolve is the reason it's key to the game is basically you can decide where to take your story, but then the table decides whether or not it goes the way you want to, or you can decide something good comes for your character or bad for your character, depending on what you want for your story. But then you don't set up the scene. You don't get to talk to the person you want to. Joe Bob doesn't get away. Maybe what he's successful at is we decide he actually gets the last box of Thin Mint cookies from the Girl Scouts at the store. You win, but that's not what you wanted. So there's that lack of control, and the Mad Lib style ad-libbing we're going to need to do is the fun part of the game.
All right. I think we're ready. Let's, you guys ready? Joe, Kira, Alex, Max?
I think so.
Right.
Do this.
Let's make a fiasco.
Of course we're doing it now. We're here. We're live. There's no escape.
We're live.
All right.
Oh, what is this intro? Oh, whoa! I have not seen this.
It's all fancy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we're back.
Man.
I know.
Ooh, intro
It's
was
short and
hot.
sweet. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Bam.
I feel like it's somewhat maybe prophetic of it just going up in flames. Who knows?
I certainly don't. Oh, wait. Yes, I do, because I'm going to choose a good result. Because
Okay, so we're going to start.
He's really obsessed
That
about
is
that.
so we're going to have a good outcome for our player 1, Joe Bob. So the rest of us, let's set the stage for Alex's scene.
We're number 1.
I think what
We're
we'll do
number
is
1.
we're going to have, so Joe, if you guys remember, or exclamation point fiasco to look at the relationships, let us set up a scene between Alex and Joe. And these two are neighbors. And they have always kind of been, kind of at odds with each other. Joe talked about him being suspicious of Alex's character and the weird stuff that's going on in this old house. So the stage is going to be this. Alex, you are going to be talking to Joe. Joe Bob's going to be talking to Abner. This is going to be weird. Joe is not Joe Bob. Joe Bob is going to be talking to Abner. Joe Bob, I want you to try and invite Abner over to the house to kind of show him that everything's fine. There's nothing weird going on. There's no reason to be suspicious or to try and tell the world that we're all a bunch of like zombie demons from hell. Like that's just atrocious. So that's going to be your scene. Alex, you've already chosen yourself a good outcome. So that's the stage. Let's see how that goes out. Let's say that you guys are outside. No, you know what? I want you, Joe Bob, to go to Abner's house. You're going to be so friendly. I want you to knock on his door with like a plate of cookies. You know, this is going to be the traditional like, hiya, neighbor, here you go. I want you to try and invite him over to the house to show him that everything's okay.
Oh, jeez. All right. Oh, what's my inspiration for this scene? Oh, yeah, cookies, door, neighbor. All right. So I guess I walk up to his door. Abner! Hey, Abner, it's me, Joe Bob.
What are you doing here?
Oh, there you are. You know,
What do you want?
I've been really thinking about it, man, and I was just, here, take this. It's a plate of cookies from the missus. I just thought maybe we could bury the hatchet.
You've buried a lot of hatchets.
Oh, geez, don't go on about all your conspiracy theories. You know, deep down, I'm a decent guy, I don't know how to get you to see it. Here, just take the cookies. Try one. I promise they are not poison.
Why are you bugging me?
Well, it's been so many years and I've been having some health problems as of late, and I don't want to die with this on my conscience. I'm going through some sort of 13-step process. You know, you go around, you talk to people that maybe you done wrong. Now, I didn't necessarily do you no wrong, but I understand that our relationship's a little contentious. So I thought maybe I could give you this little peace offering, invite you over to the house, and we could just spend some time, you know, getting to know each other as people, you know, red-blooded American-like.
You're going to invite me in after all these years?
Yeah, well, you know, this time I at least got to spruce up the place a little bit, you know, throw the trash away, shovel everything under the bed, you know, make it presentable. I'm not, as you can tell, as I point over to my really, you know, worn down home, I'm not really that well off. Sometimes it's a little embarrassing, so I just don't like people getting into my business. You know, I'm a private man. But you know, I figure I'll invite you over. I cleaned up.
You don't live on a farm, Joe Bob. You live in a neighborhood. There are people around you.
Yes, like my wonderful neighbor Abner, who I'm trying to invite over for some polite conversation and discourse. I'm just saying maybe we can find a way to get past everything that's all that bad blood.
When are you having your get-together?
Oh, should be here in like an hour or two. Just letting the place air out a little bit.
All right, Joe Bob. I'll be there. I'll be there to get a good look. I'll be there.
I look forward to you joining me. I will say this: that was all the cookies. So there's not going to be like a buffet. It'll be civilized or whatever. But I'm just saying, don't come expecting pie, but bring a positive attitude.
Right.
As I walk off. Oh,
all right.
Sure myself.
Close the door. Scene.
All right, way to go. We now have an invitation to it. Now I guess there's a party at the house. This is going to be interesting. Who else is coming to this party? All right, so Alex, you chose a good outcome. Give yourself a green poker chip. And in Act 1, you get to give that poker chip to anyone on the table. For while he's doing that, just for you guys who are knowing, we're going to be accumulating dice kind of in front of us. If we were on the table, that's what would happen. We're going to show you with poker chips on the screen. Green poker chips are positive outcomes. Black poker chips are negative outcomes in some sort of way or fashion. In Act 1, we give those poker chips away. The loose goal of players at the table is to try and collect as many of one color as possible. However, since we're giving chips away at the beginning, and then on the second scene we're going to keep them, it's going to be very difficult for us to have all of one color. With player 1, there's not really anything else on the table, so Alex,
So I can't give one to myself for being so great.
you can't give one for yourself. No. So let's see a green poker chip. Who are you going to give the first dice to? To Joe. Joe, you've got a...
I think you mean
positive dice,
Abner. I think you mean Abner.
Abner, you're right. No, Joe Bob. As I had mentioned, we're going to play this over 4 total turns for each player, so there's going to be a total of 40 chips to give away. I said that wrong. It's 10 chips.
This is like 40. It's a lot.
10 before.
Too many dice. I promise I can do math.
It's okay.
So there are only going to be 10 positive chips and 10 negative chips. So we've given one away, which means there are 9 left. This brings us up to Kira's turn. So Kira, do you want to set the stage for a scene, or are you going to choose the outcome for your character?
No, I'm going to set the stage for a scene because after that amazing opening, I think it would be hilarious if, as he's leaving Abner's house, someone just pulled up in their, undercover PI car and is getting out with 2 cups of coffee, also having come to see Abner, and is going to bump into a certain Joe Bob on the way up to see Abner. Because if I understand correctly, we can't have multiple characters in one scene or characters one after another.
You could, yeah. There's no. This is whatever you feel like would fit well for your scene. That's fine. Your character is the spotlight, so that's where we're going to be. Is that you're in the spotlight?
Yes, Aoife's coming to just get the daily kind of news, check on the house. She's got a couple different things on her mind. She hasn't seen Abner in a bit, and she's very suspicious of Joe Bob in general, based on his relationship with the house. I don't know if Joe Bob knows Aoife at this point. What do you think, Alex? I assume he does.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that'll be interesting then. Doesn't know who she is. Okay, so you okay to start a scene then? Walking out from just handing off the totally not poisoned cookies, and then you see me walking up.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we're going to do this is that the table is going to decide how the scene goes for him. And so at one point during the scene, I'm going to hold up one of the 2 dice. The table's kind of talking behind the scenes, and that's going to tell the people in the scene how the resolution is going to play out for our spotlight character, Kira. So whenever you're ready, Kira, let's see what Aoife does.
Okay, so yeah, Aoife Byrne pulls up outside of Abner's quaint little house in her black sedan and gets out having 2 cups of coffee, one in each hand. And she kind of just stops as she gets out at the bottom of the stairs as she sees Joe Bob up there and waits for him to turn around and times it just so her vest can pop open a little bit as she shifts one of the arms so she can see the shoulder holstered revolvers underneath because she's carrying 2 of them.
Oh,
no badge or anything. Yeah. And she just looks up at Joe Bob and goes, "Why, hello there. What are you doing over here?"
Oh, I'm just dropping something off to my neighbor. Abner, looks like you got a guest.
Oh, you're pulling them in. Nice.
So-
Abner, it's me. I brought coffee.
Come on in.
I'll walk up
Ignore-
this. Go ahead.
No, just ignore that guy.
Yeah, so she'll kind of start walking up the stairs, side-eyeing Joe Bob, and then just as they pass, she'll go, "You better not be causing any trouble for Abner. He's a nice man."
Why, I just dropped him off a plate of cookies. Why would you think I'd be causing them any trouble as I start walking towards my house? Crazy lady.
Just kind of shake my head as I watch him walk away, and then I go and push into Abner's house and offer him a coffee. He's
And not as quietly as I should. As I'm closing the door, I just loudly mention he's one of the ones I'm always telling you about.
I figured from the general demeanor when I saw him standing there, he couldn't even deliver cookies without looking like a creep, apparently. Is he giving you troubles?
Nah,
Just more of the same weird stuff coming from there and all that?
he's just trouble and sloppy, and he's not good for the neighborhood.
That seems like something more is bothering you, Abner, just in the way that he carries himself. Did he do anything?
Nothing I've been able to substantiate.
Oh, so it's more of the rumors then about the house, and she'll hand him the coffee. Do you have anything new for me? My gossip's kind of on hold at the moment. There's not really many cases, or not many people looking for PIs at this time. It seems like everybody's having happy marriages for once.
I found some of the old letters that Gladys was taken from the mailbox when nobody was living there, and they didn't stop the mail.
Mm-hmm.
I set them out for you, and they were right here by the door, and I don't know where they went.
What kind of letters were they? Like debt collectors or something spicy?
I haven't read them. I don't know, but it looks like it's.
Oh no. I just screwed it up. One second, guys. I think I just screwed up the audio trying to fix the audio. I apologize. Yeah, I was trying to fix it. I had some people telling me it was all jacked up, and so I was trying to fix it, and then I just screwed it up. 1 second. Maybe if I... Oh, this is not going to go well. Oh, geez. Options. Listen. Oh, geez. I apologize, everyone.
It's a mime from Max.
Oh,
It's a
there it
mime.
goes. There it goes. There it goes. I can hear you guys again. So I think I know what's going on. So I don't know if anyone's noticed in the chat, but I have a disability. So I actually have them piped into my Bluetooth cochlear implant because I'm part robot, right? And when that plays through my Bluetooth, it is mono because I sucks to be disabled, right? I don't know. So I think that's part of where this mono sound is coming from because we're capturing desktop that is being delivered to a mono device. I haven't been able to sort out the setting, so I apologize. It doesn't look like it's something I'm going to be able to fix live. So I hope you can still enjoy it with patience, but I do know if for some reason you can't tolerate it, that's fine. I can fix it in post, and when it does get uploaded to YouTube, it will be in dual audio. So I apologize to everyone. Sorry for interrupting the scene. I was desperately trying to fix stuff in the background. So
You're fine. I just
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I think that that's almost like a good spot, right? Like, you just found out that possibly Joe Bob took the letters with him after delivering the cookies. Like, that's a hefty accusation. That's pretty.
Yep.
That's pretty heavy.
yeah, I'm not.
What do you guys think?
He's
Yeah.
You're
not
Joe. Do
that.
What was
sorry,
that, Joe?
He's not bright enough for that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that's a good end of the scene, and like the whole setting up that Aoife wants inside the house too, with that potential party and stuff.
Just so happens, I just got an invite. What are you doing in about an hour?
I mean, I was going to drink coffee with you because we usually drink for about 2 hours. Is it that early?
Well, we've got a plate of cookies we can bring. We won't be showing up empty-handed.
It figures that a house that weird would have a party this early in the day too. I mean, it's barely afternoon, and they're having a party. If you don't mind taking me as a +1, I'd love to get a look inside.
Absolutely.
Perfect. See.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, so that was a bad outcome. We were looking for letters, and now the letters are not there. So, Mira, you get to give a black poker chip to anyone at the table.
I'm giving it to Alex because he's trying so hard to avoid them.
I gave good chips. Oh, jeez, that's harsh. You know,
It is harsh.
you try to be a good guy, and you get bad outcome chips.
All right.
Oh,
So that's
jeez.
one black dice or a negative dice for Alex. Joe, you're up next. What do you want to do? Do you want to establish a scene, or are you going to resolve the scene?
I hadn't thought about it.
Surprise!
Yeah.
There's my chip.
Establish.
Right. So Joe's going to establish a scene for us. It helps if we kind of tell like what the goal of your character in the scene is. That way we can know as like the audience what you're kind of driving for, aiming for, trying to get out of it. Who do you think's in the scene with you?
Well, actually, here's what we're going to do, Dave. We're going to get ready to go over next door to the party where I'm convinced now that I'm finally in there while Joe Bob's hanging around that I'm going to find some proof of what I want. What I don't know until I get there is that you're back in town and you and I are going to have a sidebar while Aoife and Joe Bob have to play nights in the parlor.
Okay, so
You and I.
we're gonna do a scene. You're gonna pull me off to the side, and what are you gonna try and get out of me?
I'm just going to hassle you for being back and basically try to pin you into saying something that I can use.
Okay, you're trying to get me to get something juicy out of me. All right, I like that. I can play off that. That means it's up to Alex, Kira, Max. Please don't forget to check the chat to kind of decide if you want Joe as Abner to have a positive outcome in the scene or a negative outcome in the scene. As we're going to have a discussion between Abner and Dave. All right, going to the house already. Take it away. I'm ready.
Okay. So we walk in, look around. Aoife sees Joe Bob and sort of in her usual demeanor engages him before it's a problem and walks in and they start talking in the other room. And while I'm looking around, Dave, you catch my eye.
I kind of see you, I don't know, like swirling, drinking a glass. I'm just gonna like purposely turn away.
What are you doing back here?
Oh, Abner, such a pleasure to see
Hoodlum
you.
reunion? What's going on here?
Oh, I was just back in town. I had some business with my little sister that I needed to resolve. She invited me to come back to this place. Said something about making amends. She's just like I said, it's just trying to make amends. I don't want to be here as much as you do. I'm surprised you set foot outside of your suburban fortress and your blinds and your hedges.
I'm a happy man in a happy castle. The rest of the kingdom is in shambles. So what are you making amends for?
Yes.
Crunch your cookie.
Making amends, just kind of like look around. Abner, I'll have to tell you, I don't like being in this place. Makes me uncomfortable, but the little sister's trying to bring the family back together. Says that we can move past all of the strife and drama. Cheers to that.
Well, for what it's worth, we have some things that we agree on. I don't like you being in this place, and it makes me uncomfortable that you guys are coming back.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm uncomfortable being back. Was hoping to have left this place behind me, but I suppose if you can make this step and to try and be here, I suppose I can as well. Why are you here?
Oh, just seeing what's about. It
Well,
was interesting to find you here.
there's going to take my eyes off of the basement stairs and turn back towards you. Definitely nothing about Abner. There's nothing to see. You might as well enjoy the food.
Look down at the plate of cookies. Yeah.
Enjoy yourself, Abner. I'm sure that time spent in company such as this will definitely raise your spirits. It's good for you to get out and get some daylight every now and then.
I get plenty of daylight. We'll see if we can open some curtains in this house, let some light in. How about that?
The curtains have not been opened in some time. Good luck with that. If you tell me, if you see my sister, please tell her I'll be waiting in the den.
I'll do that. In fact, I'll go look for her.
All right, and I'm going to continue my drink and turn my back to you. All right. So that was a positive outcome for Abner. Abner, you saw Dave pointedly looking at the basement door. Who would you like to give your positive outcome dice to?
For giggles, we're actually going to let you have the positive outcome.
Me? Aw,
Just
thanks,
to keep
man.
the story shaking in weird directions.
Sweet. All right, it's a green poker chip for me. That means, Max, it's your turn up next. Do you want to create a scene, or are you going to resolve a scene?
I suppose I'll make a scene.
All right.
Yeah.
So kind of tell us a little bit
that-
about who's involved and what you're trying to get out of the scene.
So I just want to go over and I want to hit up Joe Bob now that we're all kind of milling around back in the house, and I just want to catch up and try to see why we've all decided that a luncheon is the best thing to do in this dilapidated manner right now.
Okay. And what are you trying to get out of Joe Bob? What would you say your character's goal is for this conversation?
So regarding Joe Bob, I think that we're going to take a little trip down memory lane and reminisce, check in on times past.
Okay, so you're hoping to get more information then about your probably shared history.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. So that means the rest of us, Kira, Joe, and I, we're going to talk about your fate. And at some point during the scene, I'm going to hold up the good outcome or the positive or the negative outcome, and you can drive that scene that direction. As you're trying to get this information out of Joe Bob. Is it going to be nice, jovial, and reminiscent, or is it going to just kind of dissolve into that awkward, like I'm going to look at you, you're looking at me? Are we actually talking about this thing? All right, Max, take it away.
Okay, so Beryl's just kind of like scurrying around the house, a little jumpy, a little worried about, this group of people that has spontaneously gathered here right now. And I'll go find Joe Bob sort of in the corner of the living room there. And hey, Joe Bob, it's been a while. How you doing there?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Beryl. I'm doing just fine. I'm actually trying to bury the hatchet with Abner over there. You seen him around? She's acting as suspicious as always.
Old Abner, he's always got a bit of a stick up his ass about everything, and I'm sure he's always just paying close attention to those HOA rules, making sure that everything's up to code. No one wants any blinking Christmas lights or anything like that. Did you make some of your cookies?
Yeah, I did. Old secret family recipe. Well, the missus did. And it wasn't really a secret family recipe unless a box is a secret. It was on the back of the box.
All right. Well, you don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to have myself one of those. I'll start
I've-
nibbling on that cookie.
I,
So,
I figured I might be able to bribe Abner a bit, give him a little bit of what he wants and maybe start leaving us alone.
well, it looks like there's plenty on the plate. He doesn't know what he's missing out on.
Yeah.
Everything going well with the old house? Everything's still nice and secure?
Yeah, everything's secure. Haven't had any
Great.
problems lately.
You seen or heard from Sprinkles lately?
Oh, I haven't seen hide nor hair of Sprinkles in some time. I think he's hibernating or something.
Well, we always have trouble figuring out exactly his sleep wake patterns. So as long as he's doing okay, I think we'll be all right then.
Well, last time I saw him, he was in the burrow, but
Okay.
some of the neighbors' cats have gone missing, and I think he might be getting out. I've covered up some spots, but every time I fill in one hole, I find another.
Yeah. Well, he's determined, that one.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't bring the wrong kind of attention. Makes it difficult to, squat. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, let's just make sure that we don't cause too much of a ruckus today and cause any sort of disturbance that's unwarranted.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I'm still collecting all those Social Security checks.
All right. Well, I heard nothing about that. I'm going to go see what my brother's up to. Just wander away there.
All right.
Bye,
nice
Barrel.
work. Someone
Good to see you, Joe Bob.
So someone named Sprinkles, huh? All right. Max, you had yourself a positive outcome for that scene. You were able to kind of get the information you're hoping for about your friend named Sprinkles, whoever this is. You get to give this poker chip, this positive outcome dice, to anyone at the table. Who would you like to give a chip to?
I'll give that positive outcome to Joe Bob. He's just misunderstood.
All right. So now you have a positive outcome dice and a negative outcome dice. Alex, interesting. All right. I guess that means I'm up next. So I'm going to choose to resolve my scene. I want to pick my outcome. And so what are you guys going to establish? Who's in this scene for me? What am I trying to get out of this scene? What is my goal? Putting you guys on the spot. So pick some people to be in the scene with me, or one person. Pick kind of a goal for me. What am I trying to get out of it? And then where are we?
Maybe some AOE starts getting a little.
Aoife.
You did this,
Aoife.
Kira.
Aoife, maybe Aoife gets a little suspicious now that she's kind of been given free reign of a stranger's home, and you walk in on her snooping around, and you're trying to hide those desperate secrets you keep so close to that chest of yours. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe trying to figure out who she is.
Yeah.
Well, we know each other. We know each other, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. You guys have an established relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to make you nervous that she's in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kira and I are going to have a scene. We're in the house, and she's going to come in on me trying to hide something. And I'm going to try and successfully hide some of my secrets. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay. I'm going to choose a negative outcome for my character.
Ooh, negative outcome. That's fun.
I like it.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be at the back door, and you, Kira, can walk in on me, like kind of. You see me? I'm just kind of like scraping some mud off my boots.
Okay. Cool.
Reaching down, scrape.
You doing it with the gardening today?
Aoife,
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
you're here too. I did not know that you would be in this place. Why are you here?
I mean, when you hand out invites willy-nilly, Abner had a +1 and he decided that I was a proper date to come on over and say hi to the old family.
That prune invited you.
Hey, that
Whoa.
prune's a very nice man if you get to know him. We talk quite often. He always has interesting things to say about the happenings that are going on over here. Things that stick in my craw and pique my interest all the time, like someone coming in to a party with that much mud on their shoes.
Oh, as I kind of like shuffle sideways, and you can kind of see like a shovel peeking out behind Dave's back. Happenings, huh? What sort of happenings does the good neighbor Abner share with you?
You know, things going bump in the night, weird lights coming on here and there, people coming and going at all sorts of hours of the day and the night.
There's most definitely not anything that goes bump in the night in this house. Nope, dilapidated, abandoned. I mean, the curtains don't even open. I can't understand why you'd have any interest in this old house.
You know, it's a crime to lie to a private investigator, right?
Yes, I'm familiar with your work. You and I can say that we share a common goal. We want to be loved by the people. You help people, and I seek to bring understanding and enlightenment to those that I work with as well.
Oh, you're a spiritual leader now, all of a sudden, Dave.
I work with spirits. Yes, you can say that. Now, this is the mud room. Shouldn't we go into the den with the rest of the guests and enjoy this time together?
I mean, yeah, I do have quite a green thumb myself. If there was something you were planting out there, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I'm gonna look behind me. Freshly, and as I turn, you can see outside the window little pile of freshly turned dirt.
Nice.
The winter frost is coming on. I don't think those plants will make it. Certainly, anything out there is definitely dead. You know what? Let's just. I'm gonna obviously she knows what I'm doing, so I'm gonna just put my shovel and take off my boots and then take her by the arm. Come on, let's go back with the others. You don't need to worry about the backyard. There's nothing interesting. I mean, you wanted to know the happenings. Well, happenings happen with people, so let's go where the people are.
So he's trying to physically move me.
Yes, I'm going to take you by the arm, and I'm walking away from the door.
She'll go along for a step or two, but then eventually push back against it and give kind of a pointed look and say, well, I think I could use some fresh air, though.
Suit yourself. All right. Oh, sure. Fresh air. Okay. I'm just going to stand there and wait for you to do something.
Okay, well, she'll wait a second and then just slowly try to pry out of the grip and go for the back door.
I'll watch you go.
Okay. Yeah, walk outside and do you want to end it there or?
As soon as you walk outside, I close the door and then lock the door.
Really now? Okay, yeah. So is that the scene then?
Yes, you hear the door close behind you and then just the click. Door outside. Now the backyard, you can see that there's a little shed in the backyard and there's that freshly overturned pile of dirt. There's also going to be, since we're in this old house, this old manor, a nice 8-foot stone wall across the entire backyard. And there's no other way to get currently out to the front yard other than through that back door. You could see a little pane of ivy climbing up to the second story windows. But otherwise, it looks like that is your only entrance or exit besides this shed that's in the backyard.
Interesting. Okay.
All right. So that's my scene. Well, that's interesting. She's definitely going to dig up my secrets or something. I'm going to give my negative outcome to your good sister, Aunt Beryl. Why don't you give a black poker chip to Max? Let's see what he can do with that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. All right, and then Alex, you're back up, so I'll give you a second to give him a black poker chip.
Oh yeah, give me a second. A hot second.
1.
A hot
2.
A hot second.
So many seconds.
My
It's a
mouse
hot second
is-
like a baker's dozen.
Yeah, it's like that, but far more exaggerated. Who am I giving it to?
Max.
You mean Beryl?
This guy. Yeah, good Auntie Beryl.
Oh, that's messed up. Don't do my girl like that. Don't you
All
do
right.
my girl like that.
Alex, you're up next. You want to establish a scene or resolve a scene?
I want to resolve. I'll take resolve a scene for 500, Dave.
All right.
I would
What
like a
scene should
negative
we set up
outcome.
for Joe Bob? You're already choosing a negative outcome, huh? Okay. Let's see. What should we establish for Alex? I think we should have Abner and Joe Bob have another scene together. And I think that you're trying to try and show like that the house is fine, right? This is a happy place. You've now successfully invited Abner over. He's in the house now. And I think you're going to try and take him on a tour of the house. And your goal is to show him that there's nothing nefarious or sneaky going on at all, with the intent of convincing Abner that after he has this tour, he's going to essentially leave you alone. Everything's going to be sunshine and roses. There's definitely nothing evil or no negative. This is a nice place. It looks kind of downbeat, but it's a good place. A good family could raise, their lives here. I think that's what we should set up the scene with, and I think it should be held, or after kind of the tour of the house, outside of the basement door, which you obviously don't want to open, but you also chose a negative outcome for yourself. So I think that's what we should have the scene be.
So as you can see, Abner, it's mighty fine. It's got good bones, is what I'm trying to tell you. The sink's a little leaky. There's some mildew here or there, but easily a fixer-upper, right?
I gotta admit, Joe Bob, there's less bones in the house than I would have guessed.
except for that Dave bag of old bones.
Why are your hoodlum friends back again?
Well, really wouldn't be much of a get-together if I didn't invite my friends like Beryl or you, Abner.
So, nothing seems amiss. I don't know why you've got all the curtains zip-tied shut. That seems weird.
Well, back when I did work the night shift, and I just got in the habit as I lean on the door frame. I just got in the habit, I'm a night owl.
From the second story, we could see the backyard. It's a little late to be doing yard work. You composting back there? What are you doing this late in the season?
Well, if I can't do it in the day, so I do it at night. And, it's actually kind of nice because you don't have the hot heat of the sun, especially in the summer.
So,
yeah, I'm not...
all the houses in the neighborhood have cellars, Joe Bob. What kind of condition is your basement in?
Well, what are you?
Be holding you up nicely.
What are you? Some kind of house inspector or something? I mean, we're insured. At least I think we are.
Your property value affects my property value. Is the basement where a lot more of those good bones are?
Yeah, well, we're all kings of our castle. As a thump hits the door, and I try and cover it up with a bang. We're all kings of our castle, sometimes it just takes a little settling, but I think a man has the right to do what he wants with his property. Dang old sticky door.
All right. You know what? Why don't we? Let's go see where the others are, and let's have some of those cookies. They smelled good.
That's an excellent idea.
Why don't we get away from here? Let's go talk to my friend that I brought with me.
Oh yeah.
I haven't met Aoife yet. I want you to meet Aoife. She's nice.
Oh, is she cute? Is she single? I'm always looking.
A whole bunch of both.
Oh, I'm always looking. The old lady's getting a little, old. You know how that goes. As I start following you towards the living room.
I'm going to lead Joe Bob away looking for my detective friend because of what just happened. My PI friend.
Okay. And that's the scene. So, Alex, you chose a negative outcome for yourself. You get to give it to anyone at the table.
Ooh, you know who I think needs some negativity? Beryl.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Piling it on. I like it.
too. That moves us to she's cute, not single. She's taken. All right, Aoife, you are locked outside of the house now in this walled-off backyard with a shed. Do you want to choose to set up a scene, resolve a scene?
You know, I like kind of leaving things to the fate still, so I'm just gonna say set up a scene.
Okay.
Interesting because I am stuck outside. Solo scenes really aren't a thing in Fiasco, right? Because
You could do a solo scene if you want to. For example, like if you were trying to break into the house and you got a negative outcome, perhaps you don't succeed or something bad happens along the way. You could do a solo scene. It is a little different, but I felt like locking you outside was a good plot point for the private investigator.
great plot
Seems
point.
super suspicious. Why would someone lock you outside?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you're comfortable with it, let's just try a solo scene and see what happens, and we'll just kind of play with it.
So yeah, what are you trying to do with your scene? Because that'll help us as the table decide should it go well or should it go poorly for you.
I mean, Aoife's gonna lean into her background. You know, she's been a PI for over 20 years at this point, and she finally has her grubby little hands on something that she's wanted for a while, which is some time in this house that has haunted her for a very long time. I mean, outside the house, but still, she feels a little weird that she got out there so easy. So she will gingerly and like kind of poke around the pile of dirt, but more just kind of looking. So I say her goal is to gain knowledge in the scene. The locked door isn't really concerning her right now.
Okay, so go ahead and start, and we will kind of decide as you're going how the scene's going to go for you.
Okay, so yeah, first we'll pick up pretty much seconds after the lock clicks, and she's gonna spin around and rattle the handle and just kind of glare at the door for a second. That wee little fuck! You think he's just gonna lock me outside? I'll shoot a fucking hole in his door if he doesn't let me back in. Well, fine. It's time to do some poking about. And she's gonna walk down and she's gonna, glance around, see if anybody can see her from where she is, any windows, any observation. And if it's clear, she's gonna go over to the pile of dirt on the ground, kind of, nudge it with the toe of her steel-toed boot and, try to look inside of it and, carefully see that he didn't booby trap it. So, what does she find though? I suppose I have to resolve this and I don't have a DM telling me what's in there. Shit.
Improv.
Now it hits. Okay, so I think inside the pile of dirt, so she pushes away the kind of dark, rich soil, and underneath is a pile of bloody rags. So it's a whole bunch of different colors of fabric and stuff, but there's blood on it and some kind of a weird caustic substance that seems to be burning holes through the actual rags and even sizzling a bit in the dirt. And she's just gonna be like, "What the? I've never seen anything like this. What the hell is he burying toxic waste in his backyard?" And I'm gonna say scene. Just because I think that's going to be the realization, putting the puzzle pieces together outside. So,
all right, interesting. There's a pile of bloody rags and caustic substance in the backyard now. Very fascinating. We gave you a positive outcome. You now have to give it away. So pick someone at the table to get another green poker chip.
I just don't like it when people gang up on others. So Beryl needs to get the positive outcome so she can have something good happen in her life.
Thank you.
Of course, lass.
All right, Abner, you're up next. Last we left you, I think you were talking with Joe Bob, trying to go find your friend. Do you want to set up a scene, or do you want to resolve a scene?
I'm going to go ahead and set the scene up. This one seems easier to do than picking the outcome. We're going to continue with what I'm doing, and I'm going to come into the living room, and I'm looking for Ife. And
Who do you find?
I'm going to say this is the first time I run into Beryl. Or no,
Antique.
let's not do that because there's established relationships. So
You could run into Beryl.
Yeah.
You're not restricted by the relationships that you currently have. If you feel like that's who you find, then that's totally fine.
no, let's go ahead and yeah, you know what? We're going to run into Squirrely Beryl, and I think Dave will have fallen back a little bit. Yeah, I think maybe or not Dave. Joe Bob will have fallen back a little bit, maybe seeing if he can hedge his distance if something goes sour if I do find my friend.
Okay. And what are you trying to get out of this scene?
I think he's sticking to he's like a dog with a bone, so he wants to know why everybody's back, and he's looking for evidence of trouble. And
Okay.
he doesn't usually talk to Beryl on her own, so he may bully her a little bit.
Okay. So we're in a room in the house, and Abner's going to try and find Beryl and trying to find some evidence from Beryl. Do we think Beryl can keep her wits? So let's go.
Girls got this.
Yeah, come on, let's go find my Dave, Joe Bob, everybody. Beryl, you're back too?
Hey,
Bring the whole family?
well, there's not too many of us left anymore, so I pretty much just stick with Dave and try to help him out whenever he needs it.
You guys haven't been around in years. Why are you back? Your brother's acting squirrely. Why are you back?
We just had to run a couple errands, just checking in on the old homestead, and Dave had to bury the hatchet with some folks in town.
Where'd your brother go? Do you know?
Oh, he's got to be around here somewhere. It's not that big. I don't know. You check the basement?
I was thinking about doing exactly that.
Right. Well,
have you seen the person I came with?
Well, I saw her wandering around. She might have been getting some air, checking out the garden recently. I just try to keep an eye on everything. I'm sorry, I'm a little just overwhelmed by the party environment. I'm usually a little kept to myself,
Okay, and I'm gonna have something erroneously click here since this is going bad for me. Beryl. You're trying to direct me outside. Did you lunatics throw my friend in the basement?
Oh, absolutely
Joe
not.
Bob!
We would never do that. We would never.
Okay. And I don't believe a word of it. And like an idiot, I'm going to run back to that basement door because that thump was Ife. I'm sure of it.
All right. Very good.
Ooh.
All right. This is interesting.
Abner, be careful.
Okay. So Abner, you got a negative outcome to your scene. You get to give it away. Who do you want to give another black poker chip to?
Oh, and Beryl still needs my positive one too. I don't see it on the screen yet.
Oh, that's true.
True.
Let's go ahead. Let's let the PI have the negative die.
Okay.
Wow, Abner.
Wow.
It's just
for all those coffees I bought you.
Okay, so we're going to give a positive die to Beryl and a negative die to Aoife. So we'll take a moment while Alex is doing that. Those of you who may have joined us, we're playing Fiasco, exclamation point Fiasco, to kind of get a little tidbit about the game we're playing. This is a tabletop game that does not have a GM or DM at all. We're going to share and tell stories together. Commando Cube, hello. Welcome hope you're gonna stick around and enjoy our Fiasco. I love the title of this game because it feels so on point with what we're trying to do. Like, it's great. We have our private investigator trapped outside in finding dirty, bloody rags. We have the suspicious HOA neighbor who is trying to like break down the basement door looking for a friend, and then the rest of us who are nervously just trying to like have a good night or whatever it is we're trying to do. This is
Enjoy
a very
nice
interesting.
serene murder.
Jeez. Commando Cub, you're like 19 month subscriber. You're so crazy. For those of you who don't know Commando Cub, talented artist. Check out the channel. Go there. Do yourselves a favor. Stay here, but then go there when you get a chance. Another tab. Whatever you got to do. But yeah, do yourself a favor. Excellent community. Good place to go hang out and spend some time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back in the basement. So up next is Max's turn. It's Aunt Beryl. So we got the dice assigned. Thank you, Alex, for doing that. Max, do you want to set up a scene, or do you want to resolve a scene?
I guess I want to continue setting up because I want to go find Dave and let him know that people are poking around where they shouldn't be poking around.
Okay, so we're gonna have a scene. Beryl and Dave. What are you gonna try and like? Where are we? And where are you gonna try and? What are you, as Beryl, gonna try and get out of the scene? What's your goal?
So my goal is to stop at least one of them and redirect them, if not completely destroy their motivation to solve issues that may not need to be solved.
Okay, so it kind of sounds like you're going to try and find Dave and enlist his help in preventing stuff from being revealed. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and where are we? Where do you think we are?
Dave is just upstairs relieving himself, and I am running upstairs to to just completely destroy his privacy and pop into the guest bathroom. And let's just start from right there.
Okay. So I'm just gonna like just standing up and zipping things up, and the door swings open.
Bam! Dave, we gotta talk.
Errol, the door is closed. This is the loo. Can't just come in here when the door is closed.
That doesn't matter right now, Dave. Dave, we got problems.
Can we at least move into the hall?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What's the big problem? There's no problems. Everything's fine. What's the deal?
Dave, I've got Joe Bob looking around all over the place. I haven't seen anything of that PI in the last few minutes. You know anything about where she might have gone?
I told you there's no longer problems in the house.
What about outside the house?
There might be problems outside the house, but that don't matter. She's not going anywhere. It's fine. What's Joe Bob doing?
Joe Bob's just asking around. He seems to think that maybe she's down in the basement. And
Joe Bob or Abner? You're talking about Abner, right?
I'm so sorry there. Yes, Abner.
You're
my memory's
kind
not
of
what it once was.
discombobulated. Are you okay? What's going on?
No, I'm not okay. I'm not okay, Dave.
What do you want me to do, Earl?
We gotta stop Abner from asking too many questions before it gets too late. Dave, I'm gonna need you to do what you do best.
Earl, I put that all behind me. I'm supposed to be retired.
Did you put that all behind you?
Well, really, I put it all under us.
Well, maybe it's time to just put one last more under us.
Right. If I do this, then you got to make sure that people don't ask questions. People outside this house don't ask questions. You got to work with Joe Bob to make sure that this stays quiet.
Joe Bob can keep a secret.
He invited Abner into the house, and now Eva's here too. Joe Bob
I didn't say he was a man of good judgment. I said he could keep a secret.
Okay. If I help you do this, which I don't feel like is the right thing to do. And I need you to convince Joe Bob that that's the only option he has. He has to keep this quiet.
I think that Abner's given him enough trouble over the years. I don't think that that'll take too much convincing.
Joe Bob has done nothing but try to get Abner's approval. He brought him cookies. Good. Farrell, I will do this for you. You've always helped me, take care of things. I've appreciated it. Your family. We've done things together we've looked after each other when no one else would. I need you to, get my back too. If we do this, I want you to go ask Joe Bob to cover this up.
You got it. I'm sure that man can spin a tale as old as time. So we can work this out.
Make sure that you've got something that'll make him hold true to his promise.
I think I could put something together there.
Is Sprinkles still downstairs?
I haven't seen much of Sprinkles lately, but I can't imagine he's gone far.
All right. Well, no use in waiting. Let's go. And scene?
Scene.
Okay. All right. Well, this is getting interesting. Did you just order a hit on Abner?
No need to
Yes.
hurry. Nobody has to
Direct,
be in the
indirect.
The intensity just went like whoop because of Max.
Yeah, I don't think it was
This is
an
gonna be
order.
interesting. We're one scene away from our intermission, so this is gonna be interesting.
Perfect.
Beryl, you got yourself a positive outcome. You need to give it away to someone.
I will give it to Aoife.
All right.
Nobody Irish.
Okay. It's my turn up next. While Alex is doing that, I'm already going to choose a positive outcome. Once again, for my character, I whatever happens next, I want my character to be really happy about it. So, what do you guys think will happen next in the old house? Set me a scene.
Something good for Gravedigger. Uncle Death.
Uncle Death. I want something good to happen for Uncle Death.
Maybe you find Sprinkles and it verifies you got some cover.
I was thinking Sprinkle should show up, like in some way for sure.
Maybe
you run into Joe Bob, and you take the opportunity to impress upon him that he needs to keep the secret. It's not supposed to.
Yeah.
You run into him in the hall, so the conversation is between you and him, and not Beryl.
All right.
I like it.
Okay. So, if I understand, Joe Bob's still downstairs. I'm going to bump into him, and my intent is to convince Joe Bob the importance of this request from Beryl. Does that sound about right, Joe?
Yeah, but that also means you're going to have to tell him what the plan is.
Oh, I don't know if I want him to know what the plan is, but it's gotta go.
Tell him what he has to keep secret.
Or you orchestrate it all cleverly, and you try and like intimidate him or push him around a little bit so that he's primed for when Beryl does talk to him. It's like, listen, Beryl's gonna come to you, and what she says, you need to say yes, kind of thing, something crazy like that.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it's done.
This is your scene. I'm just a character in the scene, so set the stage however you like. I like, personally, I like Joe's kind of idea because it kind of gives me that moral choice of I have to reveal my plan, but I still get what I want in getting security from Joe Bob as well. So
I like it.
Okay.
You get him to agree, but you guys have to figure out how much he understands he's agreeing to.
Okay. All right. So I'm coming up, and let's say I've approached Joe Bob. He's kind of eating some of his cookies in front of the fireplace. I'm in the den, so I'm gonna come into the den. The first thing I'm gonna do is gonna turn around and just slowly close the doors behind me. turn and say, Joe Bob, we need to
what?
talk.
What the
I
hell's the
understand
matter with you?
I understand you've been friends with Beryl for some time. I appreciate you being there for her when business took me out other ways.
Are you giving me one of those talks like you're dying? You sick or something? Doctor tell you got the cancer, the consumption, or whatever else?
Joe Bob,
This feels like one of those talks.
just shut your trap for a minute and listen.
All right, fine. I'll eat some cookies.
I'm gonna walk over and I'm gonna pick up fireplace poker. Gently to stoke the fire a little bit. Joe Bob, are you familiar with my line of work, where business takes me?
I'm
How
familiar
much has
that
Beryl
you're.
shared with you?
I'm familiar that you're a freaking weirdo and you're her uncle, cousin, something. As I eat another cookie. I just
clear
figured
that,
you were touched or something.
I was not touched.
Oh.
Fortunately, the circumstances of our family have led me down a certain path. And poke the fire a little bit more. Joe Bob, I need you to listen. I need you to listen carefully. You've made a grave mistake by inviting Aoife and Abner into our house. There are things here that no one should know, and yet you thought, for the greater good, that you could make peace with them, make friends with them. They don't understand what we do here. Do you want them finding sprinkles downstairs?
Well, no, it's just I figured I'd show them a little, and then, that would assuage their curiosity.
And what do you plan on doing with Abner currently trying to get in through the basement door?
Wait, he's trying to get in through the basement door?
I saw him pounding on the door frame and trying to jiggle the lock. Of course he's trying to get in.
Well, why are you talking to me? Why aren't you talking to Abner? Sprinkles is down there.
I do plan on showing Abner Sprinkles. I
Well,
look over at you very pointedly and take the fireplace poker and just crack a log in two. Joe Bob, Beryl is going to come and talk with you and ask you a very specific question. And whatever she asks you, I need you to say yes. You understand me?
I think so.
A simple yes or no would do, Joe Bob.
You're being awfully cryptic.
Perhaps then I can impress upon you the importance of the situation as I turn now the red hot poker and kind of wave it an inch or so from your nose. Beryl's going to ask you a question. You need to say yes. You can't let anyone outside of our house know what goes on here. Do you understand me? Please say yes.
Yeah. I think I understand you, Dave. Just put the poker down. You're acting kind of crazy. I get it.
Put the poker back in the side. This is important, Joe Bob. I'm going to then go outside the den, open the doors, and then close the doors again. And walk away. And that'll be my scene.
Jesus Christ, I'm never inviting Dave to any more parties. He's fucking nuts.
All right, so I got myself a positive outcome. I'm going to give it to Aoife. Let's give Aoife a positive dice.
I don't see what she did to earn it.
Wow.
What are we doing here? We're doing participation trip. No, we are doing participation trip. What are we doing?
Okay, so we're now at our intermission. This process is called the tilt. We're going to go to our break. While the rest of us at the table, we're going to kind of figure out what the random event happens during the tilt. Classic example of a tilt is, if you remember the old movie Clue, that's when the police officer randomly shows up at the door and now no one knows how to handle the situation and what's going on. Something weird is going to happen and it's going to impact all of our characters in a very specific way. How it's going to happen is that we're all going to roll dice equal to the number of chips in front of us. And whoever has the highest scores is going to determine the tilt for us. So we're going to do that on our break screen. We'll come back. We will tell you what we rolled and what the tilt was chosen, and then we're going to go through our Act 2. Now the wheels are going to start to come off. We have someone locked outside. We've got someone who now has a hit on them, someone who really wants to go into the basement, and some very contentious language being used between Joe Bob and Dave. So I'm interested to see what happens next. But in the meantime, please don't go away. We're going to cut to our break screen, get some snacks, get some drinks, turn on maybe some spooky horror music, listen to a thunderstorm outside, and when we come back, we will begin our Act 2. All right?
Be back
Thank
about
you so
15
far.
minutes.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. In front of us. So as an example, Alex rolled 1 positive dice and 1 negative dice. Max rolled 1 positive dice and 2 negative dice, and so on. We did some math with whatever higher number being the winner. And then the winners of both categories, which happened to be Kira and Max, rolled a bunch of other dice and chose a tilt for us. And so looking at a table from this book, which we're playing out of, called the tilt table, which is going to tell us some random events that happened that's going to impact our game. They selected, one was from the category of failure, and the plan was a stupid plan executed to perfection. What that plan is, how it's executed to perfection, or what, we don't know yet. We're going to find out together. The second one was from a paranoia category, where 2 characters cross paths and everything changes. We're also not quite sure what that means yet, but this is going to influence our story and our scenes as we go forward. And it'll be interesting. In Act 2, generally, this is where the wheels start to come off. In the book, it says this is where you should unscrew the lid of crazy and throw it across the table. So expect things to get even more hyped and the pedal and just adding fuel to the fire. One key difference from Act 2 from Act 1 is in Act 1, we were giving away poker chips to each other. So if I chose a positive outcome, which I just did before intermission, I gave my positive outcome away. I don't even remember who I gave it to. I think I gave it to you, Garrett. No. Who did I give my positive outcome to? You have the right number.
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I guess we'll never know.
Unless you
It's in the
watch
past.
the VOD.
We'll have to
Give
watch
to
the
someone.
We have the correct number of dice, so it's all fine. But in Act 2, whatever dice you were given after a scene, whether you chose to resolve it and take it for yourself, or if you chose to establish a scene and the table gives it for you, now it stays with you. That was number 9. What was number 9, Commando? No 9, no 9, no 9. I'm going to count on the screen. We should see 10 poker chips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see 10 poker chips, so we should be good. Yeah. So we're going to keep the dice in front of us. At the end of another 2 scenes, we're going to roll on a table with the poker chips in front of us, consult another table called the Aftermath, and then narrate a very short scene about what happens to our characters. So with that, we are going to open the next Act 2 with Aoife. Aoife, as for those who are here, it's outside, was digging through some loose dirt, found some bloody rags with a weird caustic substance on them. She is still locked outside, and to make matters worse, it has now begun to rain. Deep, dark, thick thunderclouds roll over the old house, just starting to accentuate the shadows and lines of this, maybe at one time was a well-boned house, but now it just seems to be a little bit intimidating, a little bit, I don't know what the right word is. Do me. Almost like the house is looking back at her. So she's going to start us out. And so, Kira, you're up first. Do you wish to choose to establish a scene or resolve a scene?
Lightning.
Crackle, crackle, thunder, thunder, rain sounds. We're just going to keep going with establishing, so...
All right, so you're going to establish a scene. You're still outside, locked or something. You are in the backyard that is walled off with 8-foot walls, and the only entrance you can see back into the house is the back door. There's some ivy kind of leading up to the second story, and then there's this old shed building that perhaps you not notice has a cracked window now as well. What would you like to do to establish your scene? Do you want anyone else in your scene?
I mean, I do because it's Fiasco, and I feel bad that I don't have other people in my scene right now. But I mean, I think we know someone might show up in my scene. They're not really being played right now, but yeah, so I guess I'll be myself again.
Sure. Yeah, it's up to you. You can also
Okay.
decide to include characters later in the scene. This is your fiasco. So tell
Okay.
us kind of what your scene is, and we're going to give you an outcome. So what's kind of the goal of your scene?
She's the goal for the scene would be Aoife trying to put pieces together. You know, she just found this really suspicious pile of bloody rags with a caustic substance on it. She's got this other stuff to investigate in the yard, but nothing's clicking right now. There's been these years of rumors from her friend Abner. There's been her previous unfortunate experience in the house where she made the mistake of shooting at something in the dark, never knowing what it was, never knowing if she injured it. So many questions, kind of thing. So she's looking for answers or putting pieces together after all this time. So.
Okay, now we as the rest of the table are, as you kind of go through your scene, we're going to tell you if you have a negative outcome or a positive outcome to your scene. So go ahead and take it away, and I'll hold up the either positive dice or the negative dice to kind of tell you which direction to steer your scene. All right?
Perfect. So yeah, Aoife's standing outside the house that she was, the creepy house is the focus of the story, locked out there by Uncle Death, Dave himself, which was quite annoying. After we last saw her when she was digging through this pile of dirt, found these rags with blood and a caustic substance on it. She's going to carefully bundle some of them up to make sure it's not going to hopefully burn her clothes, and shove some into her vest underneath one of her holsters. And then she's going to start kind of pacing through the yard using those trained detective eyes to look around, eventually settling on the shed, the cracked window. And kind of as the rain begins to fall and the storm starts to settle in over this house, she's going to make her way towards, yes, thank you, Alex. She's going to make her way towards the shed, keeping her hands off her guns and everything like that for now. But she's going to, make her way over there, pull a small torch out of her pocket and click the torch on and try to look around through the window, see if she sees anything. And yeah, so she's going to move over to the shed and peek through the window, and at first just see a whole bunch of discarded garden tools and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, out of the corner of her eye, she sees some kind of ghastly figure wrapped in bandages, something akin to a ghoul or some kind of a specter, and she lets out an inhuman shriek as she stumbles back, and instinctively hand goes underneath the vest to the shoulder holster, whips out the gun and aims it at the window. And the finger goes on the trigger, but nothing happens. And she slowly eases off it, unlike last time, and drops the gun and goes up again and looks, and the specter isn't there anymore. But for some reason, in the distance, she hears a door unlock. And I think that's when it's going to be seen.
Ooh. What door unlocks? I want to know.
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. So that is a positive outcome for Kira. So, Alex, give Kira a green poker chip, and Kira, you get to keep that one. It's yours.
Yay!
For the rest of us, there are only 3 green poker chips left. That's it. And we're all done with them. So, Joe, you're up next. You want to establish a scene or resolve a scene?
I'll establish the scene.
Okay.
I'm going down into the basement, and I'm convinced that you weirdos have Aoife down there, all locked up with all your weirdo stuff. I'm gonna get down there. We're gonna unravel this whole mess, and we're gonna expose you guys. I just gotta get through this 80-year-old interior door that seems to be giving this old man trouble.
So, do you want anyone else in your scene, and what do you want the goal of your scene to be?
We will, given the way things are going, we're actually going to I'm going to get the door open and rush into the basement. And that's going to be when Dave comes around the corner to see me go downstairs. So you will be in the scene.
Okay, and what's your goal for the scene with when Dave comes around?
Well, I'm still trying to expose what's going on. I'm convinced when I get down there, I'm going to find Aoife. I'm going to save Aoife. There's going to be all the evidence that I need down there. There's not going to be anything there. So I'm going to turn to be grilling you again. Because I've got to get somebody to admit that there's awful things happening here, that you people are wrong, and that there's weird things happening.
Okay. So for the rest of the table, for Kira, Alex, and Max, you get to decide the outcome of this scene. Please make sure to check the chat. Let us know how you want the scene to go. Remember, this is Joe's spotlight. He's going to try and convince Dave of some nefarious misdeed. So, all right, let's go. Let's give it a whirl.
AV! Stupid door. Hat up against the door, bang on the door, and finally, after about 6 or 7 hits from my old shoulders, the old door does buckle and open, and I go running down into the dark basement, expecting all of the proof to be there, and Eefy to be there, and everything to be okay, and there's nothing. It's just an empty basement with a cold, dirty concrete floor, an old coal flue, and empty shelves. What? I know she was down here. Something bumped the door. Joe Bob's too stupid to hide anything good.
You hear the sound of footsteps coming down the stairs. Abner, what are you doing in the basement?
Dave! Somebody was down here. This is... Oh. Feeling the love. Somebody was down here. I heard it. Dave was trying to keep me out of this basement. Somebody was banging on the door, and I think you did something to my friend.
To Aoife? She is not down here. Abner, take a look around. What do you see?
She's not down here, Dave.
Well, shall we go look for her?
If this isn't where you hide all your weird foreign cartoons and kooky swings and all your weirdo stuff, where are you keeping your deviancy? I was sure down here.
I'm gonna go over to a little work desk that's kind of next to the stairs and pull up one of those, jumbo 5-pound mag lights, right? It's this big heavy metal thing. Kind of walk back over to Abner, a little too close, and flip the light on and say, well, why don't we go look for her, Abner? I'm sure that together we can find your friend. I would hate for you to have any worry or suspicion about us. Come on, let's go deeper into the basement. I'm sure we'll find her.
Well, how far back does it go? Is it the whole house?
I've not been down here in many years. You know I've not been in town. Who knows what Joe Bob or Earl have done to this place? But come on, let me help you. Let's explore this together. I would, like I said, I would hate for your friend to be missing.
Yeah, Joe Bob's pretty dumb, but he's not dumb enough to keep her right by the door. I bet she's back here. Bring that light.
I kind of shine the light over and oh, Abner, do you see that? And I kind of walk a little closer, and you can see into the wood foundation. There's just been some planks torn aside, and now there's just this hole into the earth that goes deeper inside the ground and outside. And said, do you think perhaps Aoife went down there? She always seems like the inquisitive sort. Maybe she fell and twisted her ankle. She might need our help.
What would have dug this?
I don't know. But shouldn't we go help your friend?
Keep the light in the tunnel.
I can do that. Come on, Abner, let's go.
Take off the hat, duck, and go like a moron into the darkness.
Oh, here, Abner, you might need this. I'm going to hand you the light because you're going first. I'll be right behind you. Don't worry.
All right. I'm telling you, Dave, I find all your weird stuff down here. I'm gonna get you guys kicked out of this neighborhood.
Oh, Abner, for some reason, I feel like we won't have to worry about that much longer.
Yeah, I bet. I bet that all your crap's down here. We're gonna see, Dave. We're gonna see. I'll be right back. I'll be right back with my detective.
All right. Way to go. I feel like this is every horror movie ever. This is great.
Uh-huh. Yep. Definitely. Like,
Okay,
I'm going with
so,
Abner. I'm going to be fine, but no.
Give Abner a negative outcome dice. He
Already
was
done.
trying to find some evidence, and he's now exploring the tunnels underneath the house by himself.
He's not gonna find what he wants.
I like all those backhanded compliments. Joe Bob's stupid, but he's not that stupid.
All right, Max, you're up
We have a
next.
long history.
So, are you gonna set up a scene or resolve a scene?
I'm gonna set up a scene. I'm gonna, go have a chat with Joe Bob about what he should or shouldn't say if confronted by the law or anyone who's asking questions.
Oh, is this where your the stupid plan comes to perfection? I don't know. This will be interesting.
This is
Okay.
part of it, I guess.
So who do you want in your scene? Joe Bob. So it's gonna be Beryl and Joe Bob in a scene together.
Yes.
Joe Bob was left in the den next to the fireplace after Uncle Dave closed the door.
Sure.
And what are you trying to get out of your scene?
I'm trying to get Joe Bob's trust, and I want him to be complicit in this master plan of ours, just to make sure that the secrets of the house stay in the house.
Right. Take it away. And the rest of us, I will hold up. We'll resolve a scene. We'll talk about it as a table. We'll hold up either a positive dice or a negative dice to help you know which direction to steer your scene. But
Right,
take it away.
So having ended my previous conversation with Dave upstairs, I'm going to wander downstairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I'll notice someone was down in the basement. Okay, well, maybe Dave got a jump on stuff. Great, good for him. I'm glad that he listened to me. And I'm just going to go and make sure that I shut and lock that basement before anything can come out of there.
Oh, damn.
Dave knows how to handle himself down there. I'm sure he'll get out of there. There's no way he forgot his keys. So I'm locking that basement before I go find Joe.
Oh,
Bob.
no.
And I'll wander up, and she's, oh, hey, Joe Bob, I gotta talk to you. Let's have a sidebar here.
You see me sitting there with my plate of cookies empty, and a look of satiation and regret across my face. Oh, I had too many cookies.
Yeah.
Beryl. Oh, I was stress eating. You know I eat my feelings, Beryl. That stupid brother cousin of yours, Dave. You know he's. Oh no! Oh! There's a butt. Oh no! That is a butt.
I've become
Joe,
Dave.
Why would you do that to me? I gotta censor the butt. Oh, geez.
Everything's fine. We're good. There was a brief
nothing to
lightning
see
strike
here.
in the house. We lost power.
Nothing to
Lights
see here.
flickered.
Yeah. You know,
Secretly, Joe changed hats.
your brother cousin's kind of crazy. You know, he was in here earlier to threaten me with a poker.
Well, I think he just wants to make sure that that you're someone who can be trusted. And I know we've had our share of abnormal experiences there, Joe Bob. And I just want you to know if you don't see Abner around much later, just understand that he is an old tired man and he just had to go home. And if anyone asks you where he's gone home.
He's gone home.
He's gone home to rest.
Is this that Is this what Dave is talking? Listen, I know you look up to Dave, but I think he might be a little off. Maybe he needs
Dave-
some assisted living, ward of the state, something like that.
About his quirks, there's no doubt about that. But Dave's always been there for me over the years, and our family, we look out for each other through thick and thin, no matter how treacherous the outcomes may appear to be. So, Joe Bob, I just need to know that you're on our side in this.
Well,
Oh no!
Barrel,
Oh no!
that Abner's about to get kicked in the butt. He's pissed me off. There, Barrel.
Sorry, there's just so many buttons in channels. I'm sorry.
And Abner's still got a dial-up connection, and he's working out.
There, Barrel. I never really thought it'd be me and the missus. I always thought it'd be something between you and me. It just didn't work out that way, but I'd do anything for you.
Joe, Bob, it could have been you, me, and Sprinkles against the world, but sometimes things just don't work out that way.
Well, maybe they could. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe it's a flight of fancy, but you got it, Barrel. You got tired. I don't know what you're up to, but I trust you.
If you still feel that way after today, maybe invite the missus over. We all have a chat about it down in the basement.
Maybe. I look off into the distance, pondering. I bake those fucking cookies myself anyway. That's
and see.
So a positive outcome for Max's character. He got what he wanted. Joe Bob reluctantly agreed to Mum's the word. Trust him.
Mum is the word.
Hopefully that trust isn't abused. We'll have to see. So let's give Max a good poker chip, a green poker chip. All right. I guess I'm up next. I want to establish this scene. Here are the lock click upstairs. I want to be in the tunnels here with Abner. But I'm going to set up a scene between Aoife and Dave. So I want Aoife to be like during the lock and click. She goes inside the shed and finds this tunnel and kind of starts exploring inside. And I want to bump into Aoife while she's down here. And the goal of my scene is to try and convince Aoife to, everything's fine. It's no big deal. But come back with me. We'll get back inside the house and kind of lead her deeper into the tunnels as well. So my goal is to try and persuade Aoife to believe me that everything's okay and she needs to really see what's down here. So come with me into the tunnels. Kira, how do you feel about that? Do you think that that's a good segue for your character?
Yeah, it's a good segue. I hadn't decided what she was doing yet with that information, but going into the tunnels makes sense. So yeah.
And gets you back in with the rest of us.
It does.
It would be Abner, Dave, and Aoife all in the tunnels with this thing that you may or may not have seen. Okay, so I'm going to establish the scene. That means it's up to Max, Joe, and Alex to decide the outcome. So guys, talk about it amongst yourselves. Let us know. And once again, I'll hold up the dice. We gave a good dice to Max. He kept it for himself. So if I'm correct, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 2 positive outcomes left and 5 negative outcomes. So we're getting towards the end. All right. So I'm going to start off the scene, kind of seeing you come in through the entrance of the tunnel attached to the shed. I needed to go looking for you. My plan was to kind of find you all on and bring you in that way anyway. And so that's what we're kicking off. All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I'm coming through. It's dark. I gave the mag light to Abner, so you just see like this pale complexion kind of emerge out of the shadows of the tunnels under the shed, and be like, "Oh, Aoife."
And
Please.
I have
It's
a
good
torch.
to see you again.
So that's an immediately snap to your face.
Please, Aoife, lower the light. It's a little blinding.
It's blinding. So is being locked outside someone's fucking house when I'm here for a fucking party, and then you turn the lock on me, and then I'm down in the basement and like, Dave.
I didn't lock the door. I did not lock the door on you.
Oh,
Look, search me. I have no keys on me. Check
you
for
don't need
yourself.
keys for every lock. It looked like a fucking turn lock, Dave. Are you really gonna try and pull my leg after locking me outside?
I have not been in this house in some time, and as you may be aware, this house is a strange place.
It is. It is. Why the fuck are you in the basement? I'm trying to get back inside after seeing some weird shit. What are you doing all nimbly bimbly being like poking out of the shadows?
I saw that the door was locked. I came to find you. I found this tunnel in the basement, and I wanted to come escort you back inside the house. As I said, I don't know what happened with the door. It was jammed or locked or something. So, please, you have a torch. Can we not just, get back inside and out of this dastardly weather?
She's not gonna move, and she's gonna reach into her pocket, like keeping the torch out. The guns aren't out. She takes the torch, puts the torch up with one hand, then pulls out the pile of rags, and just kind of waves it in the air at Dave. What's all of this? How about you answer an actual question before we do anything else?
Where did you find that?
I don't know. Maybe in the garden. What is it?
I cut myself. Yes, that's it. I was working down in the basement, and I cut myself on some tools. See, look, you'll find blood on my hands.
Oh, and do you bleed acid as well?
Acid? What acid?
Oh, the acid on these, and I'm going to toss the rags at
Grab it.
Dave.
What is that?
That acid. Oh, so you don't know what's on your own bandages then? See, none of this is adding up, Dave.
Suddenly, when you look back down the tunnel. Did you hear that?
I don't hear anything except you floundering for excuses.
I know it seems floundering, but I must confess to you, the acid is unfamiliar. We have had an excellent source of compost over the last several years, and I've never really ever asked where that came from. All I ever knew was that Errol had some means of... Look, Aoife, I'm going to be honest with you. I believe we're in trouble. We're not in good shape. I've asked Beryl's help many times to help with problems, messes. I think that this acid may be perhaps a product of her cleaning solution. And, looking down the tunnel again, did you hear that?
Not hearing a single thing.
Okay, well, what are we gonna do? The door is locked. I have no keys. What do you suggest?
So she's gonna reach inside a vest pocket and pull her phone out and go for it and look at it, and then frown because there's no signal down here. Well, I was going to call the police so we could get some help here to see what's actually going on, but I say we can go back through the garden, or I can just shoot the fucking lock because I'm done and I want actual answers. So you choose which door we're going out of, but I think we're going to go together and we're going to have a bit of a family meeting and get to the bottom of this.
Look once more down the tunnels. All right, but can we not shoot the lock? Let us try and climb upstairs instead. I don't want to startle Beryl when she hears gunshots coming from outside the house. What would you say to that?
Let's just get outside and we'll see. I'll consider it. We'll make the decision once we're actually in the backyard.
Okay, so we're gonna head back to the backyard and try the lock on the door. It just rattles.
Hmm.
Which,
Does the door have windows, Dave?
no, it is not. No, it does not have windows.
So Aoife's gonna bang loudly on the door and go, Abner! Abner, open the fucking door!
And nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing
I
happens.
told you the door was locked,
So-
or it was jammed. Can we not just at least? I am just fine. We won't go through the tunnels. Can we at least try to find another entrance? Perhaps this ivy. It looks like it's straight enough. I could even go first if that would make you feel more comfortable.
It would make me feel better. Climb your little ass up it.
Okay, so we're gonna climb up the ivy and we'll get inside the house up to the upstairs. I think that'd be a good place for a scene.
Agreed.
Okay, so I couldn't get. I get a negative outcome. I couldn't convince Aoife to go into the tunnels with me. Oh man, I gotta figure out how to somehow clean up these loose ends. All right, Alex, you're up next. Do you want to establish a scene or resolve a scene? Are you still getting me a negative poker chip?
I want a negative resolve. I want things to not go Joe Bob's way.
Okay. So we'll give. First, we'll wait until we get the poker chip for Dave's character. That way we don't lose track. All right. Well, the rest of us, while he's doing that, the rest of us, what sort of scene do we want to set up for Joe Bob? I feel like it would be interesting if Joe Bob and Aoife now have an interaction, and Joe Bob tries his darndest to keep everything quiet in his promise to Beryl, and he just can't do it. He's now stuck between trying to keep his word to Beryl and trying to make sure everyone's happy and go lucky. What Max, Joe, what do you guys think?
I think it would be funny if he was also looking for Sprinkles when he runs into Aoife and is a little worried that Sprinkles is not where Sprinkles should be.
Okay, so where do we think Sprinkles should be at this time?
Well, maybe Sprinkles should be in the basement and isn't.
Okay, so let's have the scene in the basement. We've gone downstairs. Aoife is trying to find a family meeting. She sees that the downstairs is open. Joe Bob unlocks it from the outside. We know that Beryl had locked it, so he just unlocks it outside, not a problem. Goes downstairs. Aoife would find the stairs, go down. Here's Joe Bob, and so he confronts Joe Bob in the basement. Your goal is to try and convince, Aoife that everything's all right, that there's no naysaying going on, but you are going to have a negative outcome in your attempt to both conceal your worry about Sprinkles, or maybe conceal the information about Sprinkles, as well as perhaps break your word to Beryl. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds awesome. Oh my God.
So, Joe Bob, take it away.
All right, so I unlock the door, and I open the door, and I start going down the steps. Sprinkles! Sprinkles! Where the hell you at, Sprinkles? I continue to go down this. Sprinkles, I'm not playing around. I'm not playing around, Sprinkles. What the hell is the matter with you? Sprinkles! And I call out into the darkness. Sprinkles! Sprinkles!
That's where I go. So then I hear from upstairs, after having climbed up the ivy, climbed through the window, gone down multiple sets of stairs. I hear the shouting and the noise as I'm looking for everybody, trying to round everybody up. And I'm going to follow down after you with a bright flash of light because I have my torch still out. And I'm going to come down there and be like, who are you looking for, Cookies?
What? Who? Is that
You,
What?
Cookies.
cookies? I ate all the cookies. There's no more cookies. Get that
None.
light out of my eyes.
Drop it slightly. Who the hell is Sprinkles? Because I doubt it's your Cookies.
Oh, that's, the old family pet. Beryl has a affinity for Yorkshire Terriers. Those little purse dogs. They're kind of little rats as far as I'm concerned, but she would really be a mess if something were to happen to good old reliable Sprinkles, trusty Sprinkles. And that dang dog, I know it hasn't had all its shots, so it needs to not be down here. You know how many times I've had it covered in stuff like a skunk, like skunk stuff, really bad smelling. Takes forever to bathe it, and also takes forever to dry off, has a skin condition. You know, is this just nasty? You know, maybe it's maybe that little rat thing's upstairs. But why don't we go look upstairs? Maybe I'm just going down the wrong path. Oh my goodness! Hold on 1 second. Something got weird.
It's not just me.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
You turned on like Muppet voice.
Yeah, it was weird. Oh, you're still Muppety voicey. And now you're nothing. Mute,
Just,
unmute.
Maybe reconnecting to Discord.
You got a Go XLR over there or something? You got weird settings? You got Super Jedi technology? Oh my god, it sounds so weird.
Try disconnecting to Discord and reconnecting.
Turn it on and then back off. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's a mess. It's, oh geez.
Everyone just close your eyes. Don't look.
Yeah, don't look.
Believe it or not, Kira did a lot of the voice recording for the new Animal Crossing.
I feel attacked, and
there she goes.
Back.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, but you sound normal when we do hear you.
Yep.
That's so weird. I wonder if it was a connection issue or something. Nothing changed,
Better,
so I'm gonna have to go back on the VOD and see what happened.
You know, Discord, they're getting ready to sell to Microsoft. Everything's getting all. They're like,
okay.
you know, money's in the bag as far as they're concerned.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
We're just gonna wave our hands, and that totally didn't happen. Everything's fine here.
We'll edit it. We'll edit it out in post. But so Aoife's gonna do something very similar to what poor Joe Bob has dealt with in the past today. And as he's kind of doing this rambling, she's just going to kind of get like a stone cold killer look on her face and walk up, getting uncomfortably close to him as he's rambling, and then go, "Do Yorkshire Terriers walk around covered in acid-coated bandages?"
Well, maybe, I guess, maybe if it was mixed with something. Yeah, you get like a Yorkadoodle. They're like hypoallergenics, basically the same thing.
Joe, I think your rambling works on other people. It's not really working on me. I can help you. I have connections with the police department. If something's going on here, I can make sure that you're taken care of and that you're not, stuck with all of the charges of what's actually going on here in the basement or wherever it is in this house. So, I mean, if you want to help.
Well, the fuse box is down there. We don't need no charges around here. That's kind of sounds like trying to get some people in trouble. We're good red-blooded Americans. We just
I'm a private investigator, right? And she's gonna pop the vest inside out that has the not the cop insignia, but like the formal PI credentials, and also show the gun off again. I am trying to help you.
I thought you were just passionate about firearms. What the hell was that? You come into my home and you don't disclose that? Isn't that like a law? Like I say, like you invite a vampire in, but when it's a private investigator, they say, "Hey, I'm a private," when a cop's undercover, and you're like, "If you're a cop, you got to tell me." Isn't there something like that?
No,
I think that's
a wives' tale. No, that's a wives' tale. I have a concealed weapon permit, and I'm not getting in this with you. I'm a private investigator for the city, and something's going on here. So you can either choose to help the weird creeps and whatever Yorkshire Terrier fucking thing is digging around in your basement, covered in acid-coated bandages, or you can help me and hopefully end up in a better place.
Well, let's just. I'll help you upstairs. Maybe it's time for you to leave. Abner got tired and he went home and he's old. He's an old guy, and I don't think he's here anymore. Maybe you go over to his house and wait for him to be old and wake up. You're not going up the stairs. I'm really uncomfortable. I don't know what to do here.
Wait, he just to clarify really quick, he said, "I'm not going back up the stairs?"
No, I was trying to escort you up the stairs, but you weren't going up the stairs.
Oh, okay. And just to clarify too, because I saw Sean moving it. Sean, Joe Bob has the negative outcome, not me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
Correct.
do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay.
That was me just trying to indicate that we should probably start
Yeah, yeah.
resolving the scene.
Okay. Um, I think in that case, then, as Joe Bob tries to take Aoife up the stairs, she's going to kind of deftly spin around, grab his arm that was coming near her, and bend it behind his back, and twist it sharply, and start leading him up the stairs with one hand on the
okay.
other.
Okay, I plead the fifth. It was Dave. It was Dave. He's crazy. He's like an uncle cousin, a little bit inbred, but you know that happens sometimes. It's a sickness. It's illness. It's illness. You know, don't hurt Beryl. Don't. I love her. I love her to death.
See, I told you should have said something to me. Let's get up there and we'll work all of this out. And I say we can scene there.
Yeah.
Okay. With Aoife and Joe Bob going back up the stairs, that leaves Abner down in the tunnels now. So, Joe, do you? Oh yeah, and Joe Bob needs a negative outcome poker chip. So Joe, do you want to resolve a scene or set the scene?
I'm going to resolve and take a negative, just being lost in the tunnels. I'm
Okay.
lost, as chat says. I'm lost, just frustrated and prattling off CC&Rs and all of the neighborhood regulations and HOA violations that these tunnels should not be here. And for the time being, I'm just going to get turned around in the tunnels and hope the batteries in the flashlight hold out.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea. All right, so we got to set the scene here for Joe. I kind of feel like we should stick Beryl down in the tunnels with Joe somehow. Yeah, we should kind of like leave them together with Beryl kind of suddenly just like finding herself in this situation where she asked Dave to do it, but now maybe Beryl is presented with this opportunity herself.
Yeah, maybe she goes to check on Dave because he's taking so long, and she's just making sure the job got done right.
And perhaps now, we know that Beryl has this family pet Sprinkles. Perhaps maybe Beryl has a crazy idea. So what do you think? Joe, Max, would you be up for a scene like that?
That works for me.
Do you push to talk on?
Max has push to talk. Yeah.
No, I'm talk to talk.
There it goes.
Oh, you're talk
Right.
to talk. It just
So
seems
I think so. This is
push to talk.
Joe's scene. So I believe we should be in the tunnels, and Joe's maglite is starting to flicker, and he's now just maybe starting to get concerned that perhaps not being in the tunnels in the dark is what he's trying to do. So I think that Joe, his goal of the scene is to get out of the tunnels, and he bumps into Aunt Beryl, in whatever format they want, and now see how that goes. And Joe has decided to take a negative outcome for himself. So whenever you guys are ready, take it away. Bravo.
Stop! What are you doing creeping around down here?
Abner, it's time we had to talk.
It's time we got out of here. You can't have all this underground digging and excavation. You know how the foundations all through the neighborhood are probably compromised.
That's exactly what we've got to talk about here, Abner, is that you seem to have a real problem with our sense of freedom on our property and what we choose to do with it.
If you're under other people's property, if you live in this neighborhood, we all abide by the rules that we agree to. It's just how civilization works. Why can't you people just comply?
Abner, as far as I know, this is your first time in these tunnels.
Well,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
if I'd known they were here, I'd have had them shut down years ago.
Well, but you didn't know what they were here. And has that ever harmed you?
Well, just because one car doesn't hit you doesn't mean another one won't.
So you just walk around thinking you're going to get hit by every car, do you?
Well, you make sure the cars have regulations, regulated speeds, lines they stay in. Yes.
You know, Abner, I've about had it up to here with your regulations. And I'm just going to turn around and just completely disregard what Abner is confronting me about and just start doing some yip, 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 yip. Yip, 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 yip.
She
Yip, yip,
had
yip.
her damn mind.
Sprinkles, sprinkles. Come on now, Sprinkles. And off at the distance, you hear. Now, Abner, are you going to listen to me or not?
What the hell was that?
Just the family pet.
An underground pet? Is that what's doing all this digging? Do you have a permit for a pet like that?
You don't need a permit for a pet. Do I look like I applied for a permit for this pet?
No, and that's just the type of troublemakers I've been trying to tell people for years that your whole family is. Look at what you've done to this property. Look at what you've done to the neighborhood. This is awful.
Kept
You're
everything. We've kept everything below ground just for this express purpose.
What purpose?
You know, to try to keep this to ourselves. We're not trying to harm anybody, but you come poking around just as you've done year after year, and enough is enough.
I'm down here looking for my friend who was banging on the door when Joe Bob was upstairs trying to nonchalantly keep me from coming down here.
Do you have any proof that she was banging on the door?
Somebody was banging on the door while Joe Bob was holding it shut.
It was probably just Sprinkles playing with his toys.
Well, all right. Well, if you know where we are, why don't we just head back then? You want
Sure,
me to
yeah.
go, I'll go.
Let's head on back. I'll lead the way.
Yeah,
Hey.
you stay right there where I can see you.
So, starting to head back, and Joe, you took a negative outcome for yourself. How do you want to resolve that?
So we're walking into the darkness. I'm super suspicious. There's something really weird going on here. I don't trust Beryl. Beryl has a different tone than I've ever known her to speak with, and she's much more assertive and less squirrely. And the scene ends with the light flickering a little bit, and I shake it, and I look forward, and Beryl is gone, and then the light dies.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice. I like that a
very
lot.
nice. Very
Very
nice.
good.
Bravo,
Okay, let's give
bravo.
a negative poker chip to Joe. Or to Abner, excuse me, not Joe Bob. Negative poker chip to Joe, or damn. You know what I'm saying.
Bob.
Thank you. Hat guy gets a negative poker chip.
Hat guy.
All right,
Glorious hat.
Max, you're up next. Beryl, we have now only 3 scenes left.
Oh, man.
3 scenes left before the aftermath of whatever the hell is going on in this house. Beryl, you get your final scene in which you are the spotlight. Do you want to establish the scene or resolve the scene?
We'll resolve with a negative outcome.
All right.
Tell me what to do, everybody.
Okay, so we gotta set the
Maybe
stage
you
here for
find that
Max.
Sprinkles involved, and maybe it doesn't go well.
I'm picturing this.
My hat is being ransomed in chat.
Love that hat.
15,000 points.
Okay.
Joe will send you his hat.
So, how about this? I think, Akira, Alex, kind of tell me what you think. What if we set the scene was once again Beryl and Abner going through the tunnels? Beryl's entire plan was to lure Sprinkles and just deal with Abner for him. However, the light out, things are going well. It's going to plan. What Beryl doesn't know is that Sprinkles has kind of gone bad from hunger and can't tell the difference between friend or foe. And so perhaps the scene starts off with Beryl trying to talk to Sprinkles and like convince him of the plan, and moves towards in the tunnels again, bumping into Abner, as goal for Beryl is to try and escape. You'll have a negative outcome and can resolve that however you want, including the both of you. What do you guys think about that, Abner? Beryl?
I think I don't want to be involved in this scene.
There's no one else in the tunnels. Aoife took us all upstairs.
She was supposed to be my friend. What the hell?
Yeah, we got super separated this entire time. I love it.
So,
how
Kira,
many
Alex,
chips
what do you
do
guys
we
think
have
as far
left?
as setting the scene? We have a total of 3 chips. Max's scene, he took a negative outcome, so we only have 2 chips left. My scene and Alex's scene.
Okay.
Ooh.
So then, if we wrap this up down here, Max, what could happen is basically we'll play this last scene out, and then we roll at the end to see what happens to us, and we can sort of let the chips and dice decide whether one of us gets eaten, both of us get eaten.
Ooh, that's a brilliant suggestion. You can kind of do
Yeah.
like the whole escape scene. You're going to do the negative outcome, so perhaps like the tunnel you chose wasn't like the way out, and then it like cuts. What do you guys think about that?
I like it.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
turn.
So that's your
Something
scene.
like that.
So the scene starts off with Beryl trying to, in the dark now, to convince Sprinkles to solve this problem for him, realizing that Sprinkles has gone mad from hunger and probably from separation for so many years. It's turned a little feral, and then bumps into Abner once more, trying to escape. That's her goal. All right? Take it away.
Okay. So Beryl kind of feeling her way through the tunnels, realizing it's been a while since she's been down here, and maybe she doesn't know them as well as she thought. Sprinkles has made some additions on his own time, and crawling around.
Oh no.
Make the call again. And here's Sprinkles off again, and call him on over. And I can hear him, and it's like, oh, okay. Hey, bud. So I brought you a snack. You want a snack? You remember good snacks? And Sprinkles just kind of lashes out and snaps at me a little bit. And I reach for my trusty spray bottle that I usually have. Have it. Oh, okay, Sprinkles. Well, it's good. Good. Seats. Yeah, seats. Okay. And just calmly back up. Try to convey to Sprinkles that I mean no harm. Backing up, Sprinkles is advancing on me. For those at home, Sprinkles is an undescribable Lovecraftian horror, and backing away, and bump, and I feel trip over something. Look down. There's several skeletons of the neighborhood cats that have gone missing over the last few years. Back up a little farther, and bump, and I feel a warm body. I turn around. Oh, Ray, Abner. Sorry for scaring you there earlier. You know, just
what are you
just
doing down there,
reconnect.
you crazy broad?
Same as you. I was trying to leave you out. I thought you were right behind me. Where'd you go?
You wandered off and my flashlight died.
I told you to follow me.
Grab your collar. You know how to get out of here. These are your crazy death tunnels. Just get the hell out of here. What is that?
Oh, that's just Sprinkles. You know, he might be a little hungry. He's only had some light snacks as of late. So I think it's in both of our best interests if we leave him alone.
Switch the batteries around a little bit and shake it. Do the old trick there. It comes on for just a moment, lighting up the room, and then fades out. It's on just for 3 or 4 seconds, long enough to light the room up. Our eyes adjust and see what's there. And then it just dims as the batteries die. Ah!
Let's get back. And we're just
Push
gonna
barrel and run.
fall down, and Sprinkles hops over me, thankfully, tears off after Joe. Abner.
And we'll see how our endings.
Right.
We'll pick it up from there.
Okay, so Beryl and Abner are now trapped in the dark with a menacing Sprinkles. Okay, let's give a negative poker chip to Max. That leaves us with 2 poker chips left, Alex, and they're both positive. Now, how the last 2 scenes play out is that the second to last scene, I'll have to choose it's just a positive outcome. We got a positive chip left. Alex, since you're the last one to go, you can treat that last dice as wild, and you can choose to whether have a negative outcome or positive outcome for the scene. However, you get to conclude our story before the aftermath. So do whatever you feel like is the most entertaining. As for me, oh, we're back inside the house. I failed in my plan to get Aoife into the tunnels. I want to see what you guys have in store for me. I'll choose to resolve the scene, and I'll choose the positive outcome for that. So set up a scene for me, and it'll have a positive outcome. Positive for who? I don't know. It doesn't necessarily need to go Dave's way, but it's at least not going poorly for him. What do you guys think?
I think you're going to realize that unfortunately Aoife's up here, but it seems like your problem with Abner hasn't resurfaced.
Yeah.
So you're good with that.
Maybe your positive is you get the drop on Aoife as Joe Bob is spilling his guts.
Ooh.
Okay.
Or Joe Bob is more scared of Dave when Dave is in the room.
That too?
Okay. So yeah, set the scene. Tell me who the scene's with. Tell me what I'm trying to get out of the scene, and then I will resolve it in a positive way.
Yeah, so you've left Abner to the basement. You're not sure where Beryl is, but you're sure that she's on board. But you hear Joe Bob getting dragged up the stairs, and you are in the next room as you hear him spilling his guts to this private eye, and you enter from one of the side doors as she's questioning him.
Okay, and what am I going to try and get out of the scene?
Now the private eye knows too much, and Joe Bob spilled his guts. So either you want to silence one or both of them.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. I know what I'm going to do for my positive. This is going to be great. All right. So you two start off with spilling your guts, Joe Bob, and I'll walk in.
Okay. And give me the rest. Give me the rest of the details. You're still just going around in fucking circles. Makes sense, man.
I love Beryl. Joe looked up to Dave. He's always been older and more distinguished, and I think she sees him as kind of a role model. But that man is messed up.
I don't care about the family dynamics. What the hell is Sprinkles?
Oh, that's just like some pet. We were in the desert, and I was gonna ask Beryl out, but then this thing was crawling around and causing a fuss, and she just got really scared. So I went to go investigate, try and look tough, but it was this little monster. It was just eating like a rabbit or something. I figured.
So you hear the door slam as Dave comes in, closes the door behind him, and Joe Bob,
huh?
What are you doing?
Dave, nothing. I'm not doing anything, Dave.
He's trying to make some sense of this, and you should as well, Dave. The gig is up.
Gig? And what do you suppose is going on here? As I walk over and pick up the fire poker again, and walk back to the door I just came in.
Dave, she got the drop on me. She twisted I think she broke my wrist.
I didn't break your fucking wrist. You're fine. I know that Sprinkles is not a Yorkshire Terrier or whatever else you're trying to pass it off as. I know there's something in this house. I saw something in this house years ago, and I want to know what it is.
So Dave, I'm going to walk over to the door, and I'm just going to slowly put, the fire poker through, the ringed handles of the door, trapping us inside. And then I'm going to turn around and reach inside my coat and pull out a revolver, pointing it at Aoife. Put your hands up nice and slowly, Aoife. No sudden moves. I know your type.
Oh, God. Are you really going to point something at me when I still have you have...
Now,
really?
Please,
really?
Now, please.
She's going to sigh and push Joe Bob roughly out in front of her and, lazily put her hands up.
Joe Bob. Please relieve the private investigator of her weapons. She'll have a shoulder holster and a hip holster. Please take both guns.
I really don't have anything against
Dave,
you. As I reach
Joe
over
Bob,
and...
Do it now, Joe Bob.
Come on, Dave. It doesn't really need to be like this.
Go.
Oh,
now.
Okay. I relieve you of your weapons.
Okay.
And say, Joe Bob, please point them at the investigator.
No, I like guns, but I don't know. I don't really feel very
Joe,
good
you
about
gave
this.
me your word that you would answer yes to Barrel's question, and I find you in here speaking with
Oh, Dave,
private
I
investigator.
did, Dave. I said yes to
Quiet,
it.
Joe.
You know I'd
Let
do
me
anything to
speak.
protect her.
I know you would. But here you betray her trust in her word. And so now you're going to make sure that you and I clean up this mess once and for all. We are going to silence the investigator and leave her downstairs with Sprinkles. You can then tell Beryl that everything is fine and all went according to plan, and I will not speak a word of this. And so, like, after that, I'm going to then end my scene right there. So we now have Joe Bob and Dave pointing weapons at Aoife. And Joe Bob, you get the last scene. So I get a positive poker chip. That went well for me. I'm now going to make Joe Bob complicit in this act in order to secure his silence. Joe Bob, you now have 2 guns and are left with this situation.
Okay.
So I get a positive poker chip, and then you get a wild outcome. You get to pick how this ends, whether it's positive for you or negative for you. However, if you establish the scene and we give you the dice, we get to pick if it's good or bad for you. So, as soon as you we'll get the poker chip in, and then we'll be ready to go.
I'm gonna pick a negative for me.
Okay, so just so you know, it's still going to be a positive poker chip because that's what's dice left on the table. As far as the story goes, it's going to be a negative outcome for you. So this is just narratively.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. So you got me my second positive.
Yes.
And while he's doing that, now I have 3 positives. I'm so happy now. The rest of us, Abner, or Max, Joe, Kira, myself, what should Joe Bob's scene be in which he'll have a negative outcome? What is he trying to do? Maybe we start backwards. What is his goal going to be, and how is it going to, like, he's going to have to end it negatively. So what decision are we going to ask him to make?
I mean, I think he's complicit now, so he's going to be trying to take Aoife downstairs. So, I mean, my mind instantly goes to something going wrong with Sprinkles.
Remember, Joe Bob's standing here in the den with the 2 of us.
Yeah, and he's
all
taking me
pointing
downstairs.
Okay, so
Oh,
that, right?
well, yeah. I was thinking that he would just take me downstairs. That was my one idea of where it could go.
Max, Joe, what do you think?
It ended good for you, which means I don't think it makes sense for him to sort of have a change of heart and try to get the drop on you and spin on you, because your positive outcome intimidated.
It's putting him in that situation.
Yeah.
So maybe another thing is what sort of decision or choice could we give Joe Bob that would make it?
Maybe
tricky.
he refuses to be involved and, in a fit of defiance, throws both of the guns into the fireplace.
All right.
He's feeling conflicted.
Yes, he is conflicted.
Endangering everybody in the room and setting the house on fire.
Throwing the guns in
Okay.
the fireplace is not a bad plan.
Okay, so here's your scene, Joe Bob.
Story.
You are put in this situation and you really don't want to be. You're pretty much being coerced into taking violent action against this private investigator. Your goal for this scene is to somehow, the whole point of you inviting everyone over here was just to share cookies and really like have a good time. And now there's like violence going on. You've got guns in your hands. I think your goal for this scene should be to get out without anyone being upset. It's going to be, we can work this out. Your goal is to talk everyone down. But you have a negative outcome and you can choose to resolve that however you want to. And so Aoife and I will be in the scene and then you can, steer in your way.
No, so as I hold my guns up, I don't much like this at all, Dave. I'm thinking maybe we could just pretend none of this ever happened. What do you say, Effie? Oh, Elfie? What do you say? You didn't see anything, right? You didn't see anything.
She's just shaking her head with her hands up.
See, she said she didn't see anything, Dave.
Joe, it won't work like that.
Well, she seems kind of trustworthy. Oh, look at that. Oh no, she got them shifted out. But
Joe,
even
didn't you say
still,
that she broke your wrist? Do you think she would do that if she was going to end this all nicely?
I didn't break his wrist.
it just kind of felt like it. It seems okay now.
You're literally you're holding guns. Christ, if your wrist was broken, you wouldn't be able to do that, you daft man.
How
Joe,
about this? How about this, Dave? You don't tell Barrel any of this bad stuff, and I'll just let you do your thing. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go outside, and when I come back, all this will be a distant memories. I take them and I toss my guns into the fire. I'm
Joe,
just
no!
disposing of the evidence. Dispose of the
Oh,
evidence,
no!
and I'm gonna go. And I throw them in, and I start like running towards the door. Scene.
Right. We'll do that scene. Nice. Way to go. He's rallying the door. There's guns in the fireplace now. There's
Oh,
panic.
no.
Oh, this is going to be great. Okay, so you need a positive poker chip, Alex, and that is the end of Act 2. I'm going to count them all up. We should have 10 of each color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You already did that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why am I counting wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're missing a negative poker chip.
I think I was supposed to give one to Elfie.
Aoife, yes.
Aoife.
Okay,
Yeah.
so while he's doing that, I'm going to explain the aftermath. So these poker chips represent dice that we all have in front of us. We are going to roll those dice, and Joe is going to help us out with that with the dice cam, and it's going to give us a number that is we're going to consult on the aftermath table, which is in this book. So I'm going to post it in the Discord for us. So that way you guys can see it. Copy this. How it's going to work is that we'll roll this dice and it's going to give us a number. So I'm going to use the example of, I'll use mine. I've got the lowest amount. Oh, I guess Abner does too. I'm going to roll 2 positive dice, get that number. Let's say it's a 10, and 1 negative dice. I'm going to get that number and say it's a 6. My result is going to be 10 minus 6, which is going to be 4 positive is going to be my total. So we're each going to do that. We're each going to come up with a number. We're going to read off what let's see. Did you guys get that link? Yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah.
So we're going to read off what our result is. We're going to think for about 30 seconds and then narrate what happens as a result of that answer on the table. All right, that's the plan. So Alex or Joe, you'll start us off. For Alex, you need to roll 2 positive dice and 2 negative dice for Joe Bob. And what's the answer?
All right, I apologize for how wobbly this is going to be.
Wobble, wobble, wibble, wobble.
Wobble,
Waddle, waddle.
Till the very next day. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum.
No.
The dog walked up to the lemonade stand and said,
So it should be 4 total dice if you.
4.
-2.
And that was okay. Negative. So it was -2.
Yeah. This
Okay,
isn't
so
perfect.
Alex, you roll. You just kind of look at that result, and then we'll just keep going around the table. So it's 3 positive dice and 2 negative dice for Kira. Are those 1s or 6s?
Face hugger is a 1.
So 7. Is that a 0?
That's a 0.
Okay.
Wait, is that an option?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So look at the 0 and kind of figure out how that's going to relate to you. Let's keep going around the table. So, Joe, you're up next. 1 positive, 2 negative.
-1.
Okay. Those of you at home, in general, the closer you are to 0, the worse it gets. It doesn't matter what if it's negative or positive. You want to have a high number in one color. So it would be Max next. Yep, you got it. So that's 8, 9, minus 4 is what, -5 for Max?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the highest number so far, Max. That's
Oh man.
pretty good. And then I'm up last. I got 2 positive and 1 negative. Wow, is that a 9?
That's 9.
Wow! Thanks, Joe. Look at that. Okay, so now that you guys have thought about it, I'm just going to read it myself. Alex, if you'll go around table and just say what your result is, you can just read it out word for word. While I pull up mine.
Black 2, brutality. Wound that will never heal. For starters, stuff sawed off, blown off, or burned off on your way to the ground. Ignominious failure. Kiss
All right.
whatever you care about goodbye. You may die,
Okay.
but you may not.
So that's going to be his thought. He's going to think for 30 seconds or so to come up with what that narratively sounds like. Kira, what's yours? So you got a nice 0.
0, the worst thing in the universe. This probably doesn't include death, since death would be way better than whatever this is. Be creative and don't settle for the first worst thing that comes to mind. There's something darker, more awful, and more wretched out there somewhere.
Beautiful. Right. Joe, what did you get?
I was rolling for everybody and I forgot mine. I think I was at
You got -1.
-1. Horrible. You're probably dead. Other people, probably innocent people, are as well. There's no justice. There's no mercy. Everything is utterly, painfully screwed, and all of it, your fault.
Nice. All right. Max, you're up next. You got a -5.
-5. Rough. You're getting whipped like a rented mule, for a starter. And you will remember this episode for all your diminished days. The lesson you learn will be profound, lingering, and painful.
Okay. And I came up with a +9, which is nothing to crow about. Not better, and not way worse either. Maybe the car is wrecked, or your spouse is leaving you, or there's a court date, compared to some of the other people you know. All right. So while we're thinking, we're just kind of think together. Typically, these scenes are all going to be done either on a monologue or just kind of in someone's own point of view. Whoever's ready to go first, we won't need to go in order. Take it away.
I'm super ready. Joe Bob is
You're ready? All right. Okay, Joe Bob.
Goodness.
You had a -2.
Yeah, so Joe Bob throws his guns into fire, goes to leave, just doesn't want this to come back and bite him in the ass. He runs out the front of the house, slams the door behind him, takes a couple deep breaths. Oh, that Dave, he's a crazy son of a bitch, but hopefully none of this comes back to bite me in the ass. Maybe Beryl will forgive me. I'll circle back and find her after. As I take my first couple steps down off the porch, misfire goes off from the guns in the fireplace.
Whoa.
As a stray bullet catches Joe Bob right in the junk. And he claps.
Wow. Okay then.
And he claps his bleed on the ground. Oh no! Severing something very important to him. That he's not sure they can reattach.
That's pretty ignominious, man. I like it. Oh. Okay, nice. Is anyone ready to go next? I feel like I kind of have to go after Kira.
No, I want you to go before me.
Before you, but
Well, it's kind of.
mine's a little bit better than yours. It's not necessarily going my way, but
Yeah.
what about you guys? Beryl, Abner, have you thought of what might be happening to your characters?
Are you good to go?
I think I'm good to go, but what I have has Sprinkles running with me, so I don't know how that's going to affect yours. If Sprinkles stops to maul you or something, we should probably hear what happens with you.
Sprinkles does stop to maul me, so let's go ahead with that. So Sprinkles loses track of Abner at some point as he's chasing him through the halls, comes back over to me, and so I'm going to do my best to try to calm him down. Sprinkles, come on, I'm a familiar face. I know you're hungry, but let's just try to relax. And he starts to back up, and then he just hisses right in my face and spits at me like an irate llama. And his corrosive saliva just splatters over my face and hisses as it burns through my skin. And I crumple down into agony, my skin bubbling all over as he sprints off into the tunnels. And I lick my wounds.
Oh no.
Abner gets loose from Sprinkles, but is in the dark, doesn't know these tunnels, and turns around and is running in every direction he can in a panic, and realizes that at some point he has to double back, and that's when he gets Sprinkles' attention again, and the anxiety ramps. Running as fast as he can on the longest straight line he can find, he actually smashes through some old wooden planks and into a dark basement, and thinks he's got it free to go. There's noise outside, there's people, and right on his heels, this monstrosity Sprinkles comes out of the hole in the wall he just made, and he panics and he bursts through a door into a kindergarten classroom.
Oh no!
The only good thing is he's faster than most of the children. The terrible thing is he has to live with that for the rest of his life.
Oh no!
Dear
Pushing it to the
Lord.
limit. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's
Brutal.
a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Well, the game's supposed to be awful. I'm sorry.
That was perfect.
True.
All those code
Right, Kara.
violations save you in the end.
That's right.
So yeah, like the second that we're actually alone, Aoife immediately reaches down and goes behind her back for the one holdout holster that no one knew about, tucked underneath her shirt. And she pulls out a small little, really tiny little holdout gun that has 2 charges in it, 2 little barrels, and she brings it up really quick and levels it at Uncle Death himself. And in her like panicked state with everything that's been happening and her life being in danger and hearing the gunshot go outside and stuff, the PTSD kind of comes back from the original incident in the house, and the nerves take over, and she fires, and one shot goes wide outside through the wall and hitting Joe Bob in the back, in his back. And the other shot, because it's like a 2 trigger gun, the other shot goes off and it blows in her hand, and the gun explodes, sending a shower of blood as she screams and falls to her knees.
Ooh.
Right. So, guns having gone off, Dave kind of like looks around at the situation. Gonna walk over, see the inspector on the ground, and look down, realizing that she's not going to be a problem ever again. Walks through the house, looks down in the basement, sees Beryl writhing in pain, and shakes his head. Like looks through, sees that a hole is ripped out now. Sprinkles is loose. Kind of looks back to the backyard. Like everything's just coming apart. Joe Bob is on the front porch. I can hear the sirens coming. Just kind of sigh and say, well, I wanted a retirement. I was kind of hoping to be in Bermuda, not on the run. And I just like walk over and just like start to set the house on fire, because there's nothing else is gonna happen here. There's no way I'm getting out of this without like heat. And then with the sirens turning the corner, just gonna take off in a sprint and just try and hide behind some edges and escape the heat that's surely going to be coming after everyone who's in that house and whoever's been tied to that house for years to come. All right. Ta-da! We did it. We had a fiasco.
We did.
Now,
Lived
things
up
went
to the
from
name,
bad
for
to
sure.
worse. Yeah, things went from bad to
how
worse
they're
so
supposed
fast.
I love that Dave just had the most benign ending. Well, all right. It's over. I guess we're going to get out of here.
Yep.
Game over, bro.
That was interesting. With that high of a number, I thought it would have been more positive, but it's just nothing to crow about. Like
Yeah,
nothing
you
went
could have
well.
just like
There was
had him
no
just
part
like
that
turn
went
around
well.
and walk out the door.
Everything's ruined. No retirement. Just gonna be on the run for the rest of his life.
Yeah, for like anything good, it's like 10 to 12, not too shabby, and white 13, fan freaking tastic. So it
Yeah.
takes a lot. Takes a lot.
All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us with Fiasco. Please let us know what you thought of it. We've talked about Fiasco a couple times, and we on Legendary Action, we love the Channel Point store. We're contractually obligated to say that we love the Channel Point store, right, team?
Yes, we love the store. The channel
love
store.
the store.
It is
So
actually
some of
really
the
cool.
ideas
I
that
do
we
love
had
the
come up
store.
with was using the Channel Point store to actually influence the course of the game, like assigning out dice, coming up with scenes, coming up with characters and things like that. So let us know what your thoughts are, either in chat here. As I said, we'll have those comments come up in the YouTube channel here in the next couple of days, or check out our Discord, leave comments there in the main chat. If you liked it, let us know. We'll be happy to do another Fiasco, have some new cast, new setting, new environments, and new wonderfully ingenuitive ways for things to just go horribly wrong. And if we're lucky, hopefully the hat will make a comeback. So who knows? But thank you for sticking with us tonight.
Regularly, damn it.
They don't know that. We're still like
I like my cry.
new guy. So yeah, while we're just kind of like chilling, relaxing, trying to come back from all those terrible things that happened, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Was there anything that you feel like we should have done differently, or that you would have hoped to see?
I liked it. It was interesting getting to the point where like once we it's a little intimidating to be like, yeah, there's no rules, no one's setting, like you're setting the scene, and then you're acting in the scene, and then you get crazy people like here who's like, I'm gonna be in a scene by myself and act it all out and tell a story. Like going from like a more traditional game like Dungeons and Dragons to a very open-ended one with a lot of agency was actually pretty interesting. Being Irish born accent wasn't far off. Ooh.
I'm actually Irish as well, so the accent's a little off. But I grew up with grandparents and parents that had it, so I appreciate the compliment.
Max, Joe, Garrett, did you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, very similar to what Alex said. It's nice to not have a DM and make it more improv and narrative driven. I definitely feel like Fiasco is something where I think you got to play it a couple times to get out of the mindset, especially if you're a TTRPG player and you're waiting for the prompts from the DM. Like I know that I ran into that when I went outside because I'm like, tell me what I see. And I'm like, wait, I have to decide all of it. And it's fun. It's just you got to shift gears a little bit to really get into it. But I definitely think it has, infinite replayability value. It's faster than D&D. You can try out a lot of different things. Yeah, I really like it. I definitely will play it again.
Yeah, I think picking up on the scenes and how they build on each other, because we did do like a pretty extensive setup for our like character relationships a while back, and not everything played out in the exact way that we had sort of like looked at it from the outside. But I think that's part of the joy of the game itself, is that it builds on itself in like a weird, like procedurally generated kind of way.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Definitely feel like I think it'd be a hard game to play as a party game. Because I feel like I was super comfortable playing this game with all of the wonderful people here because I trust them so much, and I've role played with everybody here extensively. So like I feel like Fiasco is like definitely like you're manipulating the story and giving positives and negatives and stuff, and like I'm not sure I'd be comfortable playing Fiasco without like people I don't really know or trust or role play.
There's like that's a good word. There's a lot of trust to like set up scenes and to take the stage and be like, I'm going to set up this cool moment for you. How are you going to run with it? Right?
Yeah.
And doing stuff like, locking each other outside of rooms. And Joe is just like, sure, I'll take the mag light and go into the tunnels by myself because I trust like what's going to make it a good story. So like that sort of stuff was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you go into it knowing that like everything is designed to go horribly wrong, within people's comfort levels, I think it's a great game.
It's definitely a play game in the sense where it's not really about winning. It's about the journey and just having fun with it and not getting hung up on like, oh, I have this many whites and this many black die and all that other kind of stuff. It's much more about like the experience and the improv and just getting knee deep with some folks.
Yeah, I've been waiting to play this one for a long time. I like this one. I don't know that I would consider this a gateway game to role playing like I do Dread. This, you kind of, I think, want people to be more familiar with the concept and be able to understand, okay, we're the group of teenagers that something horrible is going to happen to when we all crash the cabins at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
You have to own that and accept it. And for people who aren't familiar with gaming at least a little bit, it's kind of hard to turn that competitiveness off, I think. But
this game is like it feels to me like the type of game that is perfect if you're really wanting to get into like being in a sketch comedy troupe or doing like live improv shows. That feels like where this game truly shines.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is like UCB type stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I could see it from either point of view. Like, I don't know if this is an intro game, Joe, like, yeah, like Dread or something, but I could see like maybe newer people whetting their appetite with this, then going to D&D. But like from my perspective, this feels like a fun thing for D&D players to do, to let loose. After having already established a lot of trust, a lot of experience with the D&D and stuff, and then this is just like, oh, let's go ham and not worry about, long-lived characters with super deep backstories that will all cry if they die, and we can just have fun and murder them. As somebody who cries about characters like all the time, so this is like stress relief for the D&D for the common D&D player.
I think it's also good too because like in a game system like Fiasco, I feel like it's great practice for improving and role playing in a longer campaign such as Dungeons and Dragons, where just practicing and being in a story and having, we say it a lot on stream as player agency, like taking the scene and setting the stage and be like, I want to do these things, and doing them in a comfortable way where you're not like overreaching your own character's boundaries and stuff. Like it feels like a lot of good practice could come out of a system like Fiasco for that too.
Yeah, very much so. But overall, very fun game. Enjoyed it a lot. Definitely play it again in the future. Try out different modules and stuff.
Yeah, this is fun. Like I said, I've been looking forward to playing this one, and I'm glad I finally got to. And it's really neat, and it's a fun exercise to. This is all improv and kind of off the cuff stuff, but you're thrown the curveballs and have to work them in, and it's a lot of fun. And I don't know, it's a great exercise for that, but it's also really neat to be like, okay, I'm going to go into this scene, and then you look over and oh crap, it's going to go sour.
Yeah. It's fun. It's all good. Well, I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday bonus stream. We appreciate your support and just hanging out with us, letting us kind of goof off, be some wild characters, and just create a fiasco together. It was great. Remember that tomorrow is going to be our tune in for your regularly scheduled program of Adventures in Terrorwind live at 7:30 p.m. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have the cast back, and so the channel point store will be back on. So use all of those hard-earned channel points you gain by watching us tomorrow to do your own part in impacting the story and the events of what's going on. You can kind of throw them curveballs too. Be on the lookout for our videos to show up on the YouTube channel. It will also include the setup, which is the character creation part of Fiasco that we did not do tonight. But it will include that video as well that kind of shows just how the game creates characters, relationships with each other. It's very different from Dungeons and Dragons, where you're kind of just choosing a class and then building it all in your head. In Fiasco, we roll a bunch of dice and then use those dice as material or resources in order to craft these relationships with each other. So that'll be on the setup video. We'll post them both here in the next couple days. But for now, Have a good evening. Enjoy Friday tomorrow, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow evening.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you for
stip-
coming to hang out with us.